Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
I was thinking a little about Josh Allen, too. I made the point, I think it was yesterday, of like maybe Justin Herbert being a wild card. And I'm like, no, dumbass.
Barton Poland's in the hospital recovering and listening, so get better soon. Not bad enough to keep him from emailing.
Type, so.
Yeah, so he can type. So it wasn't his fingers.
Only Fred can make light of someone's hospital
Could have
visit.
been talk to text.
People die.
Fred.
What you're about to say is wrong, but it's okay. Go ahead.
No. Well, I was about to say it's the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Did you even read Bart from Poland's email after you made fun of his health? That was his email.
That was the email.
That was it. He just wanted to tell us he was in the hospital listening. He said he was going to be fine. So, you know,
It's our
if he
guy.
dies, he dies. Todd's in North Carolina.
I'm going to run
What's
to
up,
the locker
Todd?
room and get a vibe check. I'll
All
be back.
right.
You don't like that.
There's
don't care
nothing
for
there
it.
for you, Deuce.
You don't care for it.
And Barton Poland says, if I die, it's on you, Fred.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Tuesday here at Gillette Stadium. It's Evan, Paul, me, Deuce, Matt, and Alex in the back room. And we're talking about Patriots, of course. A disappointing win, surrendering a 21-0 lead in the AFC East for the time being. You had that chance for a cap and T-shirt, but there's still time for that. It's not the end of the world.
No.
It's not the end of the world.
How are you doing, Fred? You came into that post-game show with your Darth
Yeah,
Vader
I
hood
was
on
really,
and stuff.
post-game, in the moment, I was really disappointed. I was dejected. You had it for the taking. It's right there. It was like I was telling you guys in the post-game show in 2006 at halftime. You thought in the AFC Championship, okay, let's make our hotel reservations. We've got this game. And it just kind of fell apart in the second half, much like this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that how much of your disappointment is that they had the lead? I mean, is that everything?
No, because everyone thought it was going to be a close game.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone was shocked that
For
they
me,
lost.
that's all of my disappointment.
Yeah.
If they had just gone back and forth the whole game and they fell short, I'd be disappointed, sure, but I'd feel much better than the way the game unfolded.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I actually feel the total opposite, and I'm on an island on this.
Okay.
And that's okay.
How do you
Barth
feel?
feels exactly how you all feel, so I know I'm probably in the minority here, but I feel like you skated with them again.
Oh, that's the bottom line of the game. Yeah.
I don't really feel I don't know what the word is. I feel as though I feel a lot of people have brought up 2021 and the feeling of them after the bye kind of collapsing in 2021. Mm-hmm. But when the Bills came here the second time to play the Patriots in week 16 of 2021, the Patriots got kind of dominated. It was really not a very competitive game. The Bills didn't punt. That's always the famous one, but they lost by 2 scores. It really wasn't a competitive game. This statistically, the Patriots outplayed the Buffalo for most of this game. And they obviously didn't win the game, and that's disappointing, but I looked at it and said, you went toe-to-toe with them, just like you did in week 5.
Yeah, the only thing
that was never in question for me, though. So,
the only thing I'll push back on that is in the second half, they didn't go toe-to-toe with them. They got dominated in the second half. They had the ball for 6 minutes.
But they dominated the first half.
No, they did. But
there's a tale of two halves.
You win the games at the second half.
Yeah, they lost the game. No doubt. That's disappointing.
You win games in the NFL in the second half.
Sure. Yeah.
And they got dominated in the second half. They had, I know they had one drive that was one play, but even if you add that on, the most they would have had the ball with 10 minutes in the second half.
They got
dominated
in the
when
second half.
the chips were down. So you have to look at that and be real about it and say that can't happen in the third game. That can't happen in the third game.
Well, to me, it goes to Drake May's a young player, and this is, still something that he's building towards. I just watched, I read Evan's review. I watched the Dan Orlovsky thing on, the dial spinning that the Bills did. And it made me just think back to, the relationship that Josh and Brady had and the experience that they had. And they could go to the sideline and say, they're doing this, or we've seen this before. And so we're watching Drake May acquire experience. It's no guarantee that he's going to turn into a clutch performer and be the guy that in the fourth quarter can be like Josh Allen is consistently. But, you know, you're watching his development, and I think these are important lessons to learn, and it's a great reminder with 3 weeks to go now until the playoffs of how these games go and the different things that are going to get thrown at you. And I think we're all here to watch Drake May develop over the next few years, and that's the biggest piece to me.
You know, the ball knowers are telling us that in the second half, the Bills' defense made some really good adjustments. They dropped more into coverage and kind of took away Hunter, Henry, and Diggs and didn't really leave a lot for Drake May. You know, it's not like they didn't try to pass the ball in the second half. So all this stuff that they got conservative is ridiculous. They only ran the ball once or twice in the second half, the whole second half. Now, they didn't have a lot of opportunities because nothing was working. So my question to whoever wants to be today's ball knower is, what could the Patriots have done to overcome that? Like, we all hear about blitz beaters. What could they have done to be coverage beaters in this game?
Well, I would just say, I mean, you said they didn't run the ball. They didn't. I mean, they ran 18 plays and they threw it 15 times. And after the success that they had in the first half running the ball, I don't know how you kind of justify that. Now, we'll talk to Josh McDaniels on Thursday, and I'm sure he'll get asked that question, and I'm sure he'll answer it honestly. But, you know, you go into a game against a weak Bills run defense, then you run all over them in the first half, and then you only run it 3 times the entire second half of the game with the lead. And
they start playing more cover 2, so they're taking guys out of the box.
You're playing 2 high safety, and they're trying to throw the ball into 2 high safety looks. It's harder to do.
So were the Bills doing something where they were showing run defense and maybe Drake was calling out of plays?
It was a little bit of both. You know, sometimes they're starting 1, sometimes they're starting 2 high safety. They did a good job of mixing it up. That's what they do. They're a good disguised defense. You know, we talked about it all week, and I think that's probably the frustrating part about it for me, was that this game plan that they came out in the second half was a lot like the first half of the Week 5 game that gave Drake and the Patriots offense some problems. So I'm not tooting my own horn at all, but in game plan, I said, this is what Buffalo is going to do. They're going to come in and they're going to play cover 2. They're going to play 2-man. They're going to play with the 2 high safeties, because this is what they did in the first half against the Patriots in Week 5. And the Patriots had 6 points at halftime. And this is what they're going to do. Now, they did it backwards. They started the game with some more post-safety stuff, and then they went to the cover 2 stuff in the second half instead of doing it the other way around. But at the same time, you know, you had to have known that these were the types of looks that were coming from Buffalo, because this is what they do. And this is what I think you're going to start to see teams do more and more against Drake May, because he said he doesn't want to be a check down Charlie.
So it sounds to me like you're saying that, you know, in terms of lessons learned, the biggest lesson and the biggest people who need to learn the lessons is coaching, not Drake May and the players.
Look, the players got to execute, and they're the ones out on the field. But at the same time, you know, you look at the fact that you only ran the ball 3 times in the entire second half, and then you add that to the fact that they ran a lot of these 2 high safety looks, and the Patriots just didn't have any answers. You know, there just weren't open guys for a lot of these plays. You know, the 4th down play that decided the game is ugly. Like, don't pull that film up. Like, it's just a pack of people in the middle of the field with no options for Drake May.
So the Bills got the ball to start the third quarter. Do you think that a little panic set in with Josh McDaniels? Like, we got to keep putting points up here. This isn't about clock management. This is going to become a shootout, and we need to score. And he panicked, and that's why he didn't run enough.
I think these are all fair points.
I'm just asking.
No,
I don't know.
I think they're all fair second guesses. Like Evan, you know, said, like, you know, how well they ran the ball. I don't think, and I might be giving too much credit, maybe this is too rosy of a look. I don't think Josh McDaniels looked at the second half and said, we don't want to run the ball this half. I don't think that was the game plan coming out of the locker room.
Right.
Like, they come out the first drive. Okay, so Buffalo goes down, makes it 24-14. First play, they hand the ball off -1. Okay, so now it's 2nd and 11. You got to throw. It's incomplete. 3rd and 11, you got to throw. You get sacked. So you go 3 and out. Obviously not ideal. Okay, but no one would argue with the play selection on those particular 3 plays, right? Would anybody say 2nd and 11 you should run again?
Continue.
I mean,
Okay,
so, but it's reasonable to say let's start throwing the ball. It's reasonable.
No, I'm not saying let's. I don't think the decision
I'm
was
just talking
let's
about.
start.
I'm just talking about in that
On
series.
2nd and 11, I think.
Yeah, I'm just talking that series.
99 out of 100 plays in the NFL on 2nd and 11, you're going to throw the ball. Okay.
Probably.
I'm not telling you. Oh,
I'm not asking them to throw the. I hate throwing the ball on 2nd and long. Or running it on 2nd and long.
That's what I'm
I wouldn't
saying.
do that, but you still have to look at it as what's the goal here? Like you have a 17-point lead at halftime.
Like I
You're
said,
trying to
I'm not
possess the ball and
I'm not
shrink the game
excusing.
at that point.
Please don't take this as like,
No, but
he's in the pocket for Josh because he likes Josh. Because
keep
I do.
going, Paul.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now you end up going 3 and out, which to me was the light switch in my head that said, "Uh-oh, it's game on now."
Right.
Because now it's 24-14. They're going to get the ball back, and now they're heated up. They feel it. They've scored the last 2 times they've had the ball. Sure enough, they get on and make it 24-21. Now I think it's very fair on that next drive, and we talked about this on Sunday. I went down the list when we got calls on Sunday, said they got very conservative in the second half. And I said, you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
It was the complete opposite. And we went down the playlist, pass. On that second drive of the second half, which was really the only drive they had in the second half.
Yeah, they
started
got
moving the ball a little bit.
16-yarder to Stevenson in the flat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So now this is where I think Evan's second guess of the run, I think, is legit because they started throwing almost exclusively from that point on. Again, I don't think that Josh went in at the half and said,
Me neither.
we ran it all over them in the first half. We don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah.
It's time to throw it now. I think that's just kind of all of a sudden the game kind of
Situationally, how it
unfolded and
unfolds.
declared.
Yeah, right.
In other words, I don't think it was anyone's fault. Sometimes we don't feel good unless we can point a finger and say, Robert Spillane didn't play, that's why we lost.
Yeah.
Or Milton Williams didn't play, that's why we lost. Josh McDaniels didn't run the ball, that's why we lost.
I just think it's.
There's a lot of things that happen in this game, and that's why they
the
lost.
other team is out there too.
I just think that it's coupled with the fact that they didn't have a whole lot of passing game answers either. Like it's not just the fact that they didn't run the ball.
Well, that's what I want to focus on.
Because like I kind of feel like that's. I don't want to call it lazy, but like it's easy to point to. It's low hanging fruit to sit here and say they only ran it 3 times in the second half.
Right. So that's
Right.
what I want to
That's
focus
my-
on.
Yeah,
That's exactly my point.
But that's how I started this. Like, what would have been the coverage beaters in the pass game?
So usually when you play teams that play a lot of 2-man coverage, which is just man coverage underneath with 2 high safeties, they're going to take inside leverage because they have the safeties over the top, so they have help on the outside, right? So what they're normally what you would look to do is throw outbreakers, right? Because you have the guys are sitting inside of the receiver. So if you run out, then you're technically running away from the leverage. They did that on the throw to Hunter Henry, and Drake just missed the throw. And Henry got hands on the ball, probably what feels like he could have caught it as well. But the throw's behind him, right? And it's causing him to make a more difficult adjustment and catch than he probably needed to in that spot. But that's usually the answer to 2-man is to throw outside the number.
So let's go back to Mike Vrabel. On Monday, I think it was, people asked him about somebody else playing better, and I think on the defense, and he felt it necessary to insert that our quarterback need to play better too.
Yeah, it was an interesting answer.
And so, I kind of agree, and I said it on the post-game show. I know this is going to be sacrilegious, I said, but I don't think Drake May played well.
Yeah.
And I think that bears that out.
Got off to a great start, and
especially
then-
in the second half. But
Second half was not
but
good.
even the first half, a lot of it was him running.
His runs.
Right,
yeah.
the 2 red zone runs and the 17-yard scramble, which was just ridiculous. But the second half was not good.
So is this something where you're having trouble finding receivers? You have been a little inaccurate. I mean, he's not stupid. He knows when he's throwing behind guys. Should he have taken off a little bit more?
Well, that's what I was going to say. And I mean, Paul laid it out perfectly. And sometimes situationally the way the game unfolds. But again, cover 2, taking advantage of that, light boxes, being able to run the ball with your running backs, but also with Drake a little bit. I mean, I think that would be an opportunity where you've got them playing 2-man. They got 2 guys high, and the rest of them are sticking with their receivers. There might be creative ways, and that's why I just look to, this is an experience game to me, not only for what it's like to go against a really good quarterback in a gotta-have-it type situation, but also just exposing Drake to more and more kind of coverages. And, to Evan's point, next time if they play Buffalo, the game plan is going to include, being ready for this kind of stuff, whether they do it right out of the gate or they switch to it at halftime. But it's just, you wish they could have run the ball a little bit more. Eat up the clock, get them out of the cover 2, bring a guy into the box, get them thinking about the run. And I understand what Paul said, the way it unfolded. It's hard to break, and especially then all of a sudden it's a 3-point game all of a sudden, and then you're down and the pressure to throw builds, and it's hard to break that.
Possess the ball in the second half enough to do anything.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
I think there might have been a few opportunities for him to run and to store, like, by the letter of the law, it would make sense to run against 2-man. Like, that's usually why you don't get away with playing 2-man against a mobile quarterback, is because of the quarterback, right? Because there's nobody left to take the quarterback. Now, Buffalo did spy him a couple of times. And
I thought they were effective
Yeah.
in this game. I mentioned a couple of times, they had some fatties that sort of angled them to the sideline, that guys that normally...
You said that in the game, too.
I said it twice. I was like, that guy did a pretty good job of making sure he couldn't get up the sideline. He wasn't going to sack him because Drake was too athletic.
Yeah.
But he made him throw the ball away. Or he made him, at one point, just go out of bounds. And on the deciding play, the 4th down, I thought Joey Bosa could not have played that play any better.
Yeah.
And you might say, well, he should be able to beat Joey Bosa in space. Maybe he would have, but I think he would have slowed him down enough that Drake wouldn't have gotten the first down. He would have had to do what he did on the play that Evan was talking about, the 17-yard run that was just ridiculous. He would have had to make a ridiculous play. Now, maybe he would have. Maybe he would have, but I think that you'd be really being critical right now if he had tucked that to try to run on 4th down, whatever it was, 4th and 6.
Yeah.
And he doesn't make it.
Yeah.
At least he tried to make a play, and Joey Bosa, I mean, give him credit. He's a good player, and he made a good play on that 4th down play.
Yeah, they were kind of, I don't know if you want to call it true drop 8, but they were rushing 3 guys, and they were keeping the 4th guy as kind of a spy, but he was near the line of scrimmage.
Yes.
And Milano did it a couple of times and actually got sacks on it, because eventually the pocket just kind of collapsed and they sacked him. And, they were just kind of hanging out by the line where they were in the rush, but they weren't fully rushing, and they were kind of just mirroring him in the pocket as a spy. They had the second half was a great plan by Buffalo. Like their coaches deserve credit. Bobby Babich is a good defensive coordinator. McDermott's a great defensive mind. Has been for a long time. Like they won. They won the chess match.
Listen,
There's no doubt about it.
If these two teams meet again, it's going to be fascinating.
That'll be a big part of
It's going to be the ultimate chess match.
So real quick, I don't think much of Buffalo's defense in general. I'm like most people, like they give up a lot of points. Certainly you can run on them, but they do have some things that statistically really stand out. Pass defense, Mike and I were talking about this as we were walking back to the cars the other night. Freezing out took us his off. The first
Thank
game,
you for your service.
I remember the first game. You're welcome, Ev.
Yeah.
The first game that they played was, in my mind, the most, whatever you want to call them, plus throws or tight window throw, whatever jargon you want to throw. That was the most of those throws that Drake made was in the second half of the Buffalo game. Probably a half dozen that like wow throws.
Yeah.
He had to make those wild throws again in this game. And like Evan said, little behind Hunter Henry on one.
He looked tentative.
That throw in the first game was perfect.
Yeah.
Tight 100%. Coverage on 3rd and 12, but the throw was perfect, and Hunter Henry makes the catch. Or maybe he sees Diggs on the sideline on that scramble and makes the throw. On this game, just wasn't quite as sharp.
I know I'm going to sound
and that can be the difference.
Yeah, I know I'm going to sound like, oh, what do you know? But mechanically, he just didn't look like he was driving the ball. He looked a little tentative on his throws.
Yeah.
I thought he just was a little confused about what he was looking at.
Well, that could have.
I thought he looked indecisive.
And I don't know. I don't think that they're like. I know a lot of people are, pointing to maybe the weather or him just having some sprays and not throwing the ball particularly well. I saw a lot of just uncertainty, just tentativeness, not 100% seeing the field very well. We saw it back in camp, like when he does those double clutches, and like we've seen him enough now that you kind of just know what it looks like when he's just
first
off.
half of the Cincinnati game.
Yeah.
A couple of those kinds of throws.
He had one, he took a sack, and like Kyle Williams is coming open on an in cut, like behind the linebackers. And like, if he's feeling it, he's just layering that thing in there every single time. And he did one of the double clutches, and then he felt the pressure and he just went down. And I was like, oh,
Do you think like
there it
pregame,
is.
during the week, it was drilled into him too much? This is a game we can't turn the ball over, and that was in his head.
I don't know. I hope not, because I think that's a bad way to go into a game against the Bills, where there's going to be big plays, there's going to be mistakes. You just have to kind of cut it loose and not get too tight. I mean, I know what you're getting at, that he went in tight. I would say maybe that happened in the locker room, and we talked about that at halftime, where it was how we were feeling. It's like, oh my God, just don't screw it up. You got a huge lead, But I still knew that they had a chance to get into it. Maybe he got a little tight. Maybe it's right there for the taking. Just don't screw it up, when you get to that mode. Whereas, maybe if it was tied at halftime, you're going in like, we're in a dogfight, guys. We got to give it everything we have. And, maybe it's a little different. I don't know. But
I think there is a weird dynamic in sports, but football in particular, when you have that really big lead at the half, it's almost like, oh, we can't blow this one, right?
Yeah.
And that, you see it every once in a while. I'm not telling you it happens all the time. 21-0 leads go away, but I don't think it's that rare for teams that are, I'm not talking
MVP
about blowout. I'm not
quarterback.
talking about like the Eagles blowing out the Raiders on Sunday, because they're so much better than the Raiders. I'm talking about, like, remember the Patriots and Broncos game that night? It was a Sunday night game. It was freezing cold. It's like 24-0.
24-3. I was there.
These are pretty even. Yeah, but I think it was 24-0 at one point.
Yeah, it's 24-3 at halftime.
And it's these are two good teams. Like, you don't expect one of them to be 24 points ahead of the other. And, like, Jesus, we're kind of blowing them out here. And you see it. Like, there's an ebb and a flow. It's almost like an NBA game. Like, everybody makes a run.
yeah.
So I did think Buffalo would eventually offensively
Yeah.
make a run. I just thought the Patriots would be able to score enough to keep them
Yeah,
at
me
bay,
too.
and it just never happened.
I knew exactly what you were saying at halftime, where it was like, I mean, it just seemed like the Bills had no answer for the Patriots, even, getting the field goal right at the end. It just, man, they're
Right.
moving the ball at will. They get what they're doing. They might only score a couple touchdowns in the second half, but that should be enough, especially if you possess the ball for, 5, 6, 7 minute drive that Buffalo's just going to run out
It
of
wasn't
time.
even about points as much to me as it was about, just possess the ball a
Yeah.
little bit, and there
Yeah.
won't be enough time to make a comeback.
Control the game.
My prediction should have come out 31-21.
Yeah.
That should have been the final
My
score.
prediction
I mean,
should
through
have come
that
out.
lens, though, Ev, like, is that just a really kind of ballsy choice by Buffalo to say, in the second half, we're going cover 2 now, or, and they run the ball on us a little bit. We're going to take somebody out of the box,
to me, that's when I think of a Sean McDermott defense, I think of overfronts, nickel, and cover 2.
Yeah.
And like that's the base of their defense, and has been really since he was in Carolina with the Cam Panthers and stuff like that, and Josh Norman picking off passes in cover 2 all day long.
What surprised me a little bit was just how infrequently they went after him, because like that's another, like, I don't know all of the X's and O's that Evan talks about, but I think of Sean McDermott coming from like Jimmy Johnson and just being really aggressive, and they certainly went after him in the first game.
Yeah.
They went at, maybe they just looked at it and said, we can't do that again, because he beat that the last time. Because I don't think they were overly aggressive from a pass rush standpoint
No.
in the game.
And I think the
was a little
pass
surprised
protection
by
was
that.
good, by the way.
I thought
fine,
the
yeah.
offensive line was really good in this game.
Me
Yeah.
too. Probably one of their best games of the year. But just last thing, this is
Back-to-back.
probably a catch-22 conversation more. But there's a lot of like,
Is it above us?
no,
That's how I took it.
No, it's not
Word.
above you
Word,
guys,
word.
just like very nerdy. There's a conversation right now amongst the ball knowers about progression reads versus coverage reads. So progression reads are just a simple 1, 2, 3, right? Like just you're starting at 1, you're going, if he's not open, you're going to 2. If he's not open, you're going to 3. Coverage reads is it man, is it zone, is it 1 high, is it 2 high? And that's where we're going to start the
And
progression.
that determines your
Right.
progression.
So
Right.
when you see something
See,
pre-snap,
I got it.
yeah.
Good, Fred.
I knew you guys would understand. I just thought it was a little bit jargony. When you see pre-snap one thing, and then the defense goes and changes the picture into something different post-snap, it's not just the quarterback; it's also the receivers. It's all everybody in the passing game has to see it the same way. And even at the end, I would say with Brady, this McDermott defense gave Brady some trouble too.
Oh, yeah.
Not because it was taking down Brady, it was taking down the system, right? Where they have all of these different types of coverage reads and option routes and all this different stuff going on.
Yeah.
And when you're on different pages, it's just hard to execute that.
That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Which to me lends more to the idea of make it a backyard school, game and start running the ball, Drake. Just make it backyard football.
Well, to Paul's point about week 5, Drake just said F it, right? And just started playing out of structure. And I think there's some truth to that. Now, you don't want to live out of structure. It's not.
No, but it keeps them honest, and now you can get back to your system again.
Right. And in the first half, I think they just kind of sat in single high safety. They kind of knew what was coming. They were seeing it well. And then all of a sudden in the second half, everybody looked confused. Even Diggs a couple of times.
I want to ask you about
confused.
Diggs because there's been a couple of comments that I've seen from the AT&Ts that have indicated that he didn't look sharp.
Yeah.
Running his routes.
Yeah, him and Hunter Henry were just kind of running into coverage the entire second half in an uncharacteristic way. So I just think a lot of this has to do with, the system and it, again, specifically this type of defense that Buffalo runs. But I again, like from what I said at the beginning, I think it's a good thing that this is what we're talking about. This is not about the fact that Buffalo just was the much more talented or the much better team. We're actually talking about like the minutia of the chess match at the game, and this is why the Patriots lost. And I'd say the same thing with the kickoff coverage, which we can get to at some point too. Like
that's a definite.
Don't get me started.
That's a definite catch-22.
This is all like X's and O's that we're discussing.
Yeah.
Which like in the past 5 years, it's been Buffalo's just much better than us, right? And there's really no chance. They got outfoxed a little bit in the second half of this game, not just a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I say that third meeting, if it happens, will be really intriguing.
Yeah, schematically it'd be interesting. I still came out of this game feeling like the Patriots defense needs an upgrade in talent in the offseason, and going back to what Houston did. And I mean, look, I'm not going to say they're going to get Will Anderson out there, but you see the impact of a disruptive defensive end who is just a problem every single play. And the Patriots don't really have one of those guys. I mean, when it was really clicking with Williams and Barmore at the early in the season, like, and Landry was healthy and Chason was like, yeah, it looked something like that, but that doesn't matter now. They got to find more talent in the offseason to deal with these guys.
If for some weird reason this game had a fifth quarter and both teams had time, a chance to regroup, go to the locker room, come back out and play another quarter, I don't think it would have been a lot different. I don't think the Patriots defense had an answer at that point.
No, I mean, I've seen Drake have some slow starts. I mean, Paul talked about the Cincinnati game and kind of turns it around and bounces back and starts to make some throws. But I think everything we're saying I agree with. It's just it felt like they were off. They got off track. It wasn't the amount of time. They needed to find a special play on defense or offense that they just never got.
Yeah. I was more disappointed with the defense film than the offense, because at least the offense had the first half to hang its hat on. All right, we got kind of worked in the second half, but that first half was cinema. Watching that run blocking was really impressive. Really impressive. Season highs and yards before contact. Rushing yards, like just all the way down the board. They really did play well in the first half. Defensively, this game, they were all out of sorts. Like they were not on their details. They weren't on their fundamentals. They were busting coverages.
What about their technique?
I didn't want to go there.
You put it in your write-up, Ev. You're just putting DTF in the write-up.
They weren't DTF. And Vrabel talked about it yesterday, like the rush coordination.
Doesn't mean what you think it means.
Details, technique, fundamentals.
Their rush coordination on certain plays, like where guys are just kind of running into each other, or like one side of the line's running a stunt, but the other side of the line ain't running the same stunt. And the Knox touchdown was that. It was not a very well coordinated defense on Sunday.
So it was a disappointing loss, but not the end of the world. The Patriots can still clinch a playoff berth with a win next week against the Ravens, or if Houston or the Colts lose or tie, they can still clinch that playoff berth. I'd rather do it by winning.
Yeah.
And they can even clinch the AFC East. But even if they lose next week, if they win the last two against the Dolphins and the Jets, they can still have the AFC East.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot of good football left to play here, even though this was
They
a
could win the
disappointment.
AFC East if they win the next 2 weeks and the Bills lose to the Eagles. They win the AFC
Yeah.
East.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's
I
a million ways to it.
I watched a little of that Pittsburgh-Miami game last night. It made me feel a little better because coming out of this game, it just felt like this is all lining up to me like a game for the AFC East against the Dolphins in Week 18 right here. But watching the Dolphins last night, they looked a little cold. They didn't, it didn't look like they were, they already got knocked out of the playoffs, obviously. And even Pittsburgh, it's like, it's not all that impressive.
No.
And, you're reminded that the AFC playoff field this year, it's full of opportunity.
Well, and I did want to bring up one point, because everyone's saying, the best teams are in the NFC. The only silver lining of the Broncos, beating Green Bay is that, okay, AFC team beat one of the, the better teams in the NFC flat out, even though it's in Denver.
So classic Green Bay, though. Like, this is perfect Green Bay. Like, just perfect one of their games. Like, they kill the bad teams, and then they get into, like, a team with a pulse, and all of a sudden they just completely get out of sorts.
But this year for them, it's been the opposite.
Is it?
They've lost at home. They lost to Cleveland. They lost at home to Carolina, and then they'd beaten the bag out of Detroit. So this year it's been a little different, but I said before the game, I said on Thursday, I'm not a believer in the quarterback. I think he's very up and down.
Yep.
Be careful.
I know. I'm not a believer in Jordan Love.
Yeah.
I'm just not. And
Packers fans.
Bo Nix.
I mean, listen, that's
vastly outplayed.
That's a big
Jordan Love in
win
that
for
game.
Denver. That shows.
It is.
That's I've thought they've been good for a while, but a lot of people really doubted them. You shouldn't. You shouldn't doubt them.
No, it's a good win for Denver for sure. And, I mean, they're getting close to locking this thing up to get that valuable first round bye. So, it's somebody's going to have to go to Denver, Fred.
two out of three they would need to win, right?
Yeah. So
minimum. I mean,
if the Patriots lose to the Ravens, I think it's pretty much done.
They were down in their game against the Packers too. I didn't watch much of it, but
they were down 9.
Yeah, they were down
in
and
the second half.
came back. They're another team that's kind of been a second half team.
who's this?
Denver.
They were
Yeah.
down 9,
Yeah.
and Green Bay had the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Parsons tore his ACL.
And they came. Well, that was late.
Nick says
Parsons got
nuts.
hurt late.
Yeah.
Who?
Nick says nuts.
Yeah, well, he's much better generally with the game on the line. This particular game, he was pretty good the whole game. So
How good would your quarterback play if he only played in his home stadium, though, Fred?
That's true.
I mean,
Although
play on
we
the road.
just played in it.
the Patriots lost 3 times in their home.
his first and second half splits, especially even his first 3 quarters versus just the fourth quarter.
Oh,
he's like
unbelievable.
a bottom 10 quarterback in the first 3 quarters, and then a top 10 quarterback in the
he's
fourth
like the
quarter.
anti-Drake.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Yeah,
He does give you some chances, though. He'll
Yeah.
throw in. He's not
he's
not
very
afraid to throw
like,
into those
kind of
defensive team
frenetic.
meetings.
Like he's just got a very high energy rate to him, and yeah, sometimes there's throws that make you scratch your head, but then there are other that
He got away
you
with
know,
them
wow.
against the Packers.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
but
couple
he-
ping bongs like almost got picked up.
we're just gonna gloss over the kickoff coverage.
the last
we're
thing-
not
I said
doing-
you can
do that on Catch
we're not
22.
doing that. Okay.
I
Sorry.
went and looked at all 22
I
with
mean,
the
you guys
kickoff to
told me
see
it'd
what
be
they
all
talked
set.
about.
Brandon Schooler was back.
No,
I don't know.
they ran a power.
Brandon Schooler.
on a
Like
kickoff.
scheming it up on the kickoff.
Offensive lineman at the point of attack.
Yeah.
Running duo.
No, I had to see because I mean,
Good job,
Vabel
Paul.
said was yesterday he pointed out like that they
There's
threw
a
that
big talk in the press
new
conference.
scheme on him, or it was a new kind of play, and so I'm like, well, I got to see what this looks like, and it wasn't hard to figure out exactly what they were doing. It's interesting because it's so obvious what they're doing, but you catch a team unawares and you get that little angle and they're gone, and then they went back to just kind of a regular right up the middle, and then that was the last one that they had. So
Yeah,
the
Ray
special
Davis
team's no good.
now he now leads the league in kickoff return average, as you could
Give him
probably
a little juice.
Yeah, probably could imagine. But man, they just in all 3 phases, like I feel like they just got kind of outcoached, and I'm honestly pretty surprised because I think McDermott's a good coach. I think Vrabel's a better coach, and I am surprised that this was sort of what happened. Like I really thought the Patriots with Buffalo moving forward would have a coaching advantage, and I don't think that that's how it unfolded on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, I said in the postgame show, you're talking about the special teams. It's a missed kick or a blocked punt. It's never usually your kickoff coverage.
3 times.
3 times especially right out of the third quarter, where it already felt like, okay, guys, like we got to turn the momentum around here, and boom, right off the bat, they're like the
it's
44
like,
or whatever.
all right, they go down and score and make it 24-14. Make them take 6 or 7 minutes. You give them the ball at midfield, and it's like they're halfway there.
Well, their first 2 touchdown drives were off of big kickoff returns, and they only had to go like 40 yards.
Yeah,
and
42 and the 44.
that's the way you get back in the game when you're down by 3 scores. Is just big special team swings and field position.
But, the other thing that they just have to change is this second half offensive production overall.
They haven't been able to score in the second half.
Yeah,
really all year.
Now Evan had good numbers on that in his breakdown too, because I was meaning to got to find some tangible something to look at, because the eyeball test tells you, even when I look back on my little book and you see just the point totals, but again, we always talk about, but they were up big, they could take the foot off the gas, and now I'm getting concerned.
See, I do think it's important to look at each game and not just the generalities. The generalities are they haven't been as good offensively in the second half. That's a fact. I can't argue against it. I would say they're not all the same. Like this game, they were just bad offensively in the second half.
Yeah.
There was no taking the foot off the gas.
No.
There was none of that. They just didn't play as well in the second half as they did in the first half. The Giants game, I thought they played a really good second half on both sides of the ball. With that huge lead, they just did what they needed to do to keep the clock running and get out of there. So it's not always the same, even though they didn't. I think they only scored 3 points against the Giants. They scored 7 in this one. So, you want to just look at points, this would say, well, they were better in this game than that game, but they weren't.
Maybe Vrabel has to have a different mindset. If you have that lead, just keep going.
But I think they did a good job of that in the Giants game. We have a big lead, we're going to possess the ball, and we don't care how many points we score, but we're going to chew up the clock, and we're going to end this game.
Maybe he needs to think about scoring points.
In this game, they needed to do something to possess the ball, and they didn't. 18 plays in a whole half is...
What was the time of possession in the second half?
It was 6 plus, right?
Yeah.
Well, the 65-yard touchdown.
Right. But even if you add that in, so you had it for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's still
the time of
only
possession in the
1/3.
game was 35-21 to 24-39.
No, in the second half.
I don't have the number in the second half.
No, I heard it was
because they don't
6
do that,
plus minutes that the Patriots had the ball.
I think, just the so in the first half, they're the best offense in football by pretty much every metric, scoring, EPA, whatever. Second half, they're 22nd in offensive scoring, just points, not doing anything fancy on you, just points. First to 22nd in the second half. And I've downplayed it because I think it's the Giants, it's the Titans, it's the Saints. It's you don't need to go and score 40 points against these teams to win those games. But this was the first time that they needed it, and they didn't have it. They needed to keep scoring. They didn't have it. McDaniels historically has not been a big script guy. I've heard that kicked around the Bills locker room that, they had a great first 15 plays, and then they kind of ran out of plays. Historically speaking, McDaniels is not someone that calls a game that way. So I don't know if that has changed. Just it might have. I don't know. But I think, you look at the first and the second half of this game in particular, where they needed to keep scoring, and the splits are not good. And really, if you go back now, I don't know, 6 weeks really to that Atlanta game, they haven't really had a lot of sustained offense in the second half at all, because they've had 4 touchdown drives in the second half over the last 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's been bad.
And a couple of them are Henderson house calls.
Tampa and this one.
Right. So they've really only had 1 or 2 real touchdown drives in second halves in a month.
Yeah. I mean, do you feel like that's, I was just going to say, the kind of thing you can sweep under the rug when you're playing bad teams and you're winning. And now when you're stared in the face with a division rival and a reminder that this is how playoff games go and you have to score at the end, that's why I look at this as a positive, as a learning experience for this team and a reminder of what these games are like. Because I do think it's hard to make hard judgments on your team when you are winning and you're in a win streak. But when you lose a game like this, especially in the fashion you lost it, it's a lot easier to turn the screws on the team and really focus in on, look, these are the real problems right now. And we've been talking about red zone defense for 3 months, but now we're really seeing it come home to roost. And these are problems that have to get fixed, or it's what's going to bounce them out of the playoffs.
Fourth quarter is 88-68. It's the only quarter they're getting outscored. As a matter of fact, it's the only, the other quarters aren't close.
Yeah.
The Patriots is 94-67, 140-71, and 80-50 the first 3 quarters. But in the fourth quarter, they're getting outscored by 20. That's not a blip. That's 14 games. You're getting outscored by 20 points in the fourth quarter. Again, some of those you can excuse. They haven't allowed a lot of garbage points.
No.
I'll say that. They have not allowed a lot of garbage points. But they have not been able to score. as consistently.
That has to
in the
change.
second half.
I think that I tried to take like let's look at things that are actual trends and not just one-off things that happen in this game, because there were, I don't think they're going to give up 3 huge kickoff returns in every single game, right? Like I think that was just sort of the way this game went. But the second half scoring is a thing now. Like that's a trend. The run defense, gotta talk about that. It's just
that's true.
Since Milton Williams has gone out, that run defense has cratered. I mean, they're bottom 5 in the league and across the board since Milton Williams. It's a very, very clear split. Pre-Williams injury, post-Williams injury, with the run defense, with or without Robert Spillane, in that mix as well. And the red zone defense is also last in the NFL.
All season long.
Yeah. So these are the things that are not just a one half of football thing that happened just against Buffalo. Those are the types of things that keep happening.
Yeah.
And this run defense is going to face Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry on Sunday night without Milton Williams. Mm-hmm. Like we'll see about Spillane. Like hopefully he plays in that game. But you don't have any time to figure it out. Like you just gotta, go out there and do something different, I guess.
Is this a game where you tell, if you're going to beat us Ravens, you're going to do it with Lamar Jackson's arm?
I mean, I think it's easy to say that, but at the same time, it's it only takes one. No,
in other words, we're going to sell out.
Yeah, to stop the run. But even still,
you would think.
I would almost wonder about sitting Spillane out of this one. I don't know if you guys saw. There's like the odds if they win or they lose. Like it's not really an impactful game for the Patriots' overall standing.
It's impactful for my psyche. I need this game.
No, and that's totally reasonable. And good teams try to win all the time and all that. But at the same time,
if he's not healthy,
and he can't play this Sunday, and now we're going to trot him out there to try to go tackle Derrick Henry now. I'd like to have him for the Jets and the Dolphins game, and as healthy as we can get him into the playoffs.
Yeah, obviously.
I just don't want to limp into the playoffs.
The Jets and the Dolphins games have more leverage, but this Ravens game, because it is an AFC and a common opponent game, is not like totally. With the tiebreakers, it's not totally nothing because
2, 3, 4.
The Bills already beat the Ravens earlier on in the season, so it's a common opponent game, which is the 3rd tiebreaker, and it's also a conference game, which is the 4th tiebreaker. So if they end up finishing with the same record and the same division record, now we start triggering all of these other, tiebreakers. But I just, the one thing about the run defense that really, I was telling Deuce this earlier, like watching it, like you can't just right up the gut. Right. It's not, come on. Like that's, to me, that is like not schematic. It's not, that's a little bit of pride. Like they ran it right up the A-gaps,
right up the gut,
down your throat.
Yep.
With James Cook. And like at some point, like you put Barmore and Tonga inside there and you say enough is enough. Like you can't just let them keep doing that.
And like when they run up there, like I think they had 2 runs for 11, another one for 16, something like that.
They didn't break any, to your point.
They didn't break any, but they're getting first downs on one run.
Yeah, that's was all positive runs.
Yeah.
They were doing. Evan, when you brought up like forgetting about the things that were one-offs, and I agree, the kick coverage is the one-off, and I think that you can sort of delude yourself into thinking, oh well, we're not going to allow those kickoff returns. Do you honestly think that they wouldn't have had 5 straight touchdown drives if they had to go 70 yards instead of 40 yards or 50 yards or whatever it was? The way that game was unfolding.
Yeah.
Like, the total yards that Buffalo ended up with were because there was no more yards to get.
Right.
Like they just, every drive ended with a touchdown, for 5 straight drives.
The more plays you force them to, execute.
Of course.
You
don't want to give them the ball at midfield. I'm not suggesting that was irrelevant. It wasn't irrelevant.
Yeah.
It was a problem in this game. I'm just saying, you can make yourself think like, well, we'll clean up the kick coverage and then we win this game. I don't think you do.
No, it's you better.
You need to clean up the kick coverage. Absolutely.
I was more talking about what.
No, I know you.
The kickoff coverage is one, but
that was a one-off. I agree.
I also expect Drake to play a lot better than he did in the second half.
You got to hope that was a one-off.
And that. Just from all the things that we have at our disposal, like he's never struggled that much with cover 2. So like to me, like that had to have, like even his rookie season, he didn't look like that against that type of defense. So you have to hope that was just a one-off. But the run defense thing is a real thing that's been happening really since the Tampa Bay game, which Milton Williams played in. But even post Milton Williams is kind of just better for the
Yeah.
So I had a prediction last night. We had our company holiday party.
Yeah.
Evan, you weren't there. I missed you.
He was in the lab.
So I made a prediction that I'm going to make publicly here.
Oh.
All week, I think Vrabel is going to be up Drake May's ass.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a tough week for Drake
Figuratively,
May.
yeah.
But Drake May will have a 300-plus yard game against the Ravens, and he'll get a game ball in the locker room after the game.
Okay.
So there you go.
I like it.
That's my prediction.
I like it. Well, I mean, I got to be honest. When Vrabel said the thing about Drake, I didn't really flinch. I mean, I thought it was definitely interesting and notable, but
But it was a left turn.
yeah.
He didn't have to
The
say it
question
at
was
that
about
point.
Christian Barmore.
Right.
Well, and I think he was doing the thing where you try to talk
About all your players.
but he
But he
singled
didn't
out
say
his
he
didn't.
quarterback.
Right.
He talked about the quarterback.
Well, who
on a
else-
question
who
about
are your
Christian
others?
Barmore.
Right, but who are your other star players?
Christian Gonzalez.
Sure. Didn't allow a catch,
Can we-
though.
can we-
But he didn't like.
Can we talk about that too?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, well, let's wait first. Hold that. But
Sorry.
I don't know.
This
I
is
didn't.
just
It didn't.
my hour to grieve, and then
I-
I'm done.
I like it. I think Drake needs to have that.
Yeah.
Drake needs to
Oh, yeah,
have
I'm
a
not
coach
saying
who's
he
going to say
should-
that.
it
Yeah,
shouldn't be
don't
that way.
misunderstand me
Yeah.
saying that I think that there was a directive.
Yeah.
It was like a directed comment that Vrabel had with me saying like, "This is bad. This is
Yeah.
bad." Like, no,
Yeah.
but I thought it was interesting.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah.
Fred's theory of him being up Drake's backside is that's probably accurate based on that comment.
Yeah.
Like, I think he feels like he needs. I think he knows that this kid's incredibly talented, and we need to do whatever we can to get the most out of him. We need him to be the best leader he can be.
Yep.
We need to, we need
Yeah.
him on. We need him to be everything we need that guy to be.
Yeah.
And all he knows, all Vrabel knows, is Tom Brady and how he did it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about how he did it physically, how he did all the other stuff.
Right.
And I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what he's looking to get.
And
at.
you could say, well, it's
Yeah.
putting too much pressure on the young kid. And if I'm Vrabel, I'm like, too bad.
Well, you want him to be the MVP
this,
of the
this
league.
is it.
I mean,
Yeah.
We're not going to win
there's
unless
2 minutes left in the game, you're down 4. That's pressure.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you
Yeah.
can't.
Too bad.
What are you gonna do?
You know,
Yeah.
like if you can't take my pressure, you're certainly not going to be able to take the pressure of the playoffs.
Yeah.
So let's go. Let's go. And
I think Vrabel's
you know,
the right kind of coach to take that stuff with Drake, and especially with Drake having 3 older brothers. I think he's
Yeah.
used to that kind of getting called out. I mean, look at the video we put out right when he was drafted, and his brothers are all calling him names and stuff. But I think Mike Vrabel is the right guy for this job. We've heard about them talking about Drake pronouncing better and talking better in the huddle,
Yeah.
and like these little things that
and
he's going to need to develop.
He's no, wilting violet or whatever the saying is. Shrinking violet. He'll be able to take it. He's not Tony Eason. He'll be able to take the criticism, and I would imagine he
Tony
accepts
Eason
it.
on blast.
He wants it.
Yeah.
He wants to be coached hard. He said that.
Yeah.
And
speaking of Tony Eason, check out the 1985 podcast, available now on all your
Nice.
podcast outlets, whatever.
Oh, come on. You can do better
I didn't.
than
I
that.
had it. I didn't land the plane as Paul
You
likes
can
to
do better
say.
than that.
It's good.
All right.
I need it scripted.
Do you have more? You like?
Did you?
Let's talk about Gonzo. Let's talk about Gonzo.
yeah.
Gonzo.
And
Because
then
he
I
didn't
do-
allow
and
a
then-
catch, but we were in the press box during the game going like, oh, Gonzo
Wow.
got torched on that one. Gonzo, he's a little step
mean-
behind on that one. He dropped it, thank God.
Keon Coleman also took his manhood on that Josh Allen run down the sideline.
I don't have anything.
Are you worried about rankling the masses?
No, I probably should I don't have anything nice to say, so I'm just not going to say it at all.
Okay.
So,
I guess we're
bottom
like,
line, it was a sneaky subpar game for
I
Gonzo.
don't even know if it was sneaky. Yeah. I mean, look, he got torched 3 times in the game in man coverage, busted a zone coverage, got mauled by Keon Coleman on a design quarterback run where he didn't look too interested in trying to make a tackle. It's December football. Like, the playoffs are coming up. You're the number 1 corner. Like, let's go. Like, what are we doing? I mean, like Josh Palmer.
Here's an
and
email.
32-year-old Brandon Cooks.
Cookie.
Like, come on, man. You're better than that. Like,
Yeah.
that's the part that's frustrating about it is we know he's better than that.
Yeah.
Like,
Later in the game, we see Chucky Trees running stride for stride down the sideline with Brandon Cooks.
right.
Right?
And I mean, you could
That's
like
Charles Woods for those of you who don't speak Paul.
they ran the crossers on that first play to Cooks that he dropped, and like he got picked a little bit.
Yeah.
Sure, but
Yeah.
you're Christian Gonzalez. There's all pro corner.
Yeah,
like
run.
Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
No, sorry for that. I was.
All right. So I got an email from a woman, and I apologize because I must have deleted it. But when I read it, I'm like, that, So it was cold.
Yeah.
It was cold.
And Josh Allen comes out with long sleeves and looked like maybe even something underneath that and, ready for the cold. And our guy comes out with the short sleeves, I'm going to be tough.
Yeah.
But is there a lesson to be learned there? It's like, no.
Warm up.
Warm up.
Yeah.
Like, get warm. Do
Yeah.
whatever you have to do without infringing on your passing motion or whatever. But you don't have to be a hero that way.
It was an
do
interesting
what you
choice.
have to do to be warm.
I think Evan would agree with you.
I was also noticed that on the walk-in videos, a lot of guys were walking in t-shirts. Mac Hollins, of course, had
Well,
just pants
he's
on
nude out there.
But it just made me wonder if this was something a message this week of the cold
I
doesn't
can see if
bother
you're
us.
playing
we don't want
Miami,
it,
but this is Buffalo.
But it felt a little bit though. It felt a little not performative is probably the area, but trying to
It's up
send a
there.
message that the cold doesn't bother us. And I don't know. I might be reading way too much into it, but that was kind of the vibe I got.
I'm not
where
criticizing.
Every guy's got a T-shirt on coming in.
Like each individual guy sort of knows what he's most comfortable with. So if Drake is just not comfortable with sleeves, like forget about the
Yeah.
weather, like
Yeah.
then I'm perfectly fine. The whole I'm macho. I don't have any time for that.
Oh yeah.
It's
an offensive lineman thing usually.
Nobody wore more clothes than Tom Brady when it was cold out.
Scuba Steve.
Nobody.
Scuba Steve.
Right.
And he's the best bad weather quarterback I've ever seen. So whatever you need to do individually to make sure you can perform is what I want you to do. And if that means you don't wear sleeves, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But I don't want you not to wear sleeves because you're trying to send a message to the other team.
It's
Yeah.
like Spaceballs. He's like, the cold never
That's
bothers
exactly
me.
how I feel. Is just you gotta. He might need to just kind of go through some different iterations of his cold
Figure it
weather
out.
gear,
Yeah.
of figuring it out. Will Campbell, I remember that he doesn't wear a shirt underneath his pads and hasn't since college.
And that's fine if that's what he's comfortable playing.
This ain't Baton Rouge,
I get it.
right? This is, and he's not playing right now,
No,
so
I
I
know.
get that. But at the same time, did Brady? I don't remember. Did he didn't wear the scuba suit right away? That was probably
He
some,
learned.
What did he?
Yeah,
what did he wear in the Oakland game in the playoffs? The Snow Bowl game. I mean, that was his first.
I think he had long sleeves on in that game, but I would have to go
not
back
quite
and
scuba
look.
suit yet.
No,
Right.
I don't think he had progressed to the scuba suit.
I never liked the head part of it.
And I don't know if the scuba suit's the answer for Drake. I'm just saying, this is unfortunately part of being a young player in the league. Is he's also going to have some trials and tribulations of what gear he's going to play in
Yeah.
cold weather. Gloves, no gloves, sleeves, no sleeves. Long johns underneath the pants or no. You're going to have to figure it out. And Brady eventually went to the scuba suit and
Yeah.
it worked, but that might not be.
No.
He might feel constrained in the scuba suit. I don't know.
I remember in 21 when Matt came out. I think it was up in Buffalo, and it was just oh, he looks cold. And he had the scuba suit on too. That's at least what I'll say about Drake. He never really gives a vibe of feeling cold. He at least that's on par. But I agree. I mean, just more experience stuff he's got to learn, especially playing in this weather.
And that's kind of the thing that I'm talking about. If you can tell when you look, that guy
was my-
looks cold.
Right.
Oh, that guy's comfortable. So I'm not
Helmet's
telling you that
crooked.
Drake may look. I didn't think he looked cold
No.
the other
Yeah.
day.
No, I didn't either.
yeah.
I didn't either. But it was an interesting email that I said,
Just looking at highlights of the Snow Bowl game, and Tom definitely had sleeves on.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see in a couple weeks against Miami. I mean, that'll be January at that point. So
Can I say a couple
well,
of
we'll
nice
see it
things?
maybe
I
next
feel like
week in
we've
Baltimore.
There's too many. There's a couple of nice things, real quick.
All right.
Design quarterback runs in the red zone.
Yeah, there you go.
You're welcome, Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That's what we're talking
Did it feel
about.
just like he's and after the bye, that's when we'll start running
was
Drake near
great.
the red zone.
It
It just
was
felt
great.
so
I was listening to Patriots Unfiltered, and you know what they mentioned?
running Drake.
These red zone struggles. You know what my
staff
You can go like this. You're still on the air.
but yeah, the design quarterback runs, two different design plays for him.
absolutely.
Both of them worked. Even just putting that on film is good. For other teams
Really
to have
good
to
stuff.
worry about. That was great. The whole run game in the first half was awesome. They ran the
I mean,
ball.
the Henderson run.
Terrific.
That one.
Unbelievably
that's
well.
just
That was the next place I was
how
going to
you do
go.
it.
Travion Henderson's a star.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy's awesome. So that's
Home run hitter.
And I know, some yeah, like could he hit some more singles with the homers every once in a while? I actually thought in this game he actually did hit a couple of singles. Also, had a couple of 4 or 5, 8-yard runs.
I think he's finding himself here.
Yeah,
he's starting to get it.
Yeah, that speed is different. It's one thing to see the backside, open up and develop, but then to be able to outrun the entire defense to the edge to get the
best
edge.
case scenario. And this is no disrespect to Ramondre, who you guys know I really like his physicality. But if the same exact play unfolds with Ramondre, the best case scenario is a 15-yard run.
Oh yeah, right.
Like he slips out the backside, gets up the sideline, and the safety comes over and has an angle on him, and probably knocks him out of bounds.
Yeah.
Whereas Henderson comes out the backside and he outruns
Yeah.
the angle.
I know,
It's like the rabbit drill at training camp.
And listen, I know a lot of
Can't catch
people.
the rabbit when the rabbit's too fast.
A lot of people like, that wasn't a very good block. I give a lot of credit, and I was impressed with Drake May running stride for stride with him down there and getting in the way.
Yeah.
I love that from my
Vrabel's
quarterback.
like, I didn't have to fall down though.
Effort. That's all it was. But okay, I love the effort.
Yeah, Paul and I were joking that it's gone from
you don't care about effort.
No, I care about effort. I'm not going to get lost in that play. Like that play was Trevion Henderson.
I'm not.
He's a special talent.
Listen, I didn't say that Drake May made the play.
No,
I
know you did. And I'm talking about sort of the reaction outside.
Yeah, I just love seeing him out there.
I agree with everything you said.
Yeah.
That was effort.
No, Paul and I were joking that the offense is kind of completely flip-flop. Now it's like it used to be the last couple of years all short, like we got to execute 12-play drives. Now it's like 1-2-play drives. Like they're all explosive, and when they don't get their explosives, now they fall apart.
All of a sudden, it's like
you can find a happy middle
what
ground.
What I wouldn't do for a 13-play, 64-yard drive.
To be able to reverse the field like that in the NFL is impressive. You're not supposed to be able to do that at this level. That's like a college thing. To be able to do that, that was special. I didn't realize this because we're not betting folks in this department, but he's the favorite for offensive rookie of the year at the moment.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit of a down year for offensive players, but in general, they have him as him and Ibuka and Ted are like the 3 front runners.
Yeah, and Ibuka is kind of tailed off, whereas Henderson is really
he's on pace for like 1,100 yards.
All right. I see you on the phones. I see all the emails coming in. Thank you for
Some
both.
flowers.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to let our listeners tell us what they think right after this. Whether you're in the game or betting on the game, you'll need a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots, provides you with everything you need to build your personal betting game plan so you can get in on all the action while practicing safe bets. Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn more about all the safe betting tools DraftKings has to offer. Hope is here, 800-327-5050 or gamblinghelplinema.org. Must be 21 plus. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com. Physically present in Massachusetts. See DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
With FedEx One Rate, you can ship to your student for a simple, predictable flat rate. Send a box full of home-baked treats that say, "Your father and I miss you." Or send a box full of instant noodles that says, "Your father and I would like you to stop asking us for money." Either way, one rate fits all. FedEx One Rate. 2-day shipping, one flat rate. Starting at $14.50. Visit FedEx.com/one-rate for details. Exclusions apply.
If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right.
DraftKings is all about responsible gaming. It's more fun when it's for fun. So play responsibly. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction.
Hi, Nicole. I knew you'd be here. No, let me just apologize to Nicole and everybody else. I'm sure I was boring as hell yesterday. And when you guys heard that the locker room was open, I don't blame you for wanting to take off. And I know you guys got a tough job to do, and it's hard to get those guys. So I apologize but I knew you'd be here today. So go ahead, Karen.
Mike, how are you?
I'm great. How are you? Thank you for asking.
Good. I'm good. The defense allowed touchdowns on 5 straight possessions.
Yep.
What do you have to do to get that unit back on track?
Well, it's not just that unit. I think the one thing that we've done in victory has been to play very complementary. And I would say that to give the third-ranked offense the field position that they did is tough. It is tough. And again, we have to play better defensively. We have to play much better. We have to play much better in all 3 phases to beat good football teams or beat anybody. So again, we talked about getting the drive stopped. We talked about finding ways to create some turnovers and continue to hunt for turnovers and hammer and tip and try to have to knock it away from somebody and and then just figure out what we can do when they get down there to get the drive stopped with too many touchdowns on third down, where we had some positive plays and had everybody in tune and playing well and getting a stop and then giving up a touchdown on third down. So that's a long answer to say that I said we were disappointed but not discouraged, and there's a lot of good snaps of defense, but not enough, and good snaps of offense and not enough, and some good snaps of special teams but not enough, and give them a lot of credit. We knew that they weren't going to go away, and we weren't able to ultimately do enough there at the end of the game.
They had a big advantage in terms of time of possession.
Sure.
Did you feel like the defense was fatigued at all?
Again, you just don't want to be out there that long against them and against a big offensive line, and that can kind of lean on you and wear on you. And, so again, that's the complementary phase that we talked about. That's the best defense against a good offense, is being able to possess the football. And, we didn't do that. We didn't do that in the second half. We didn't put drives together. We didn't convert when we needed to.
Mike, we really don't bring up special teams unless it's really good or probably really bad. The returns, even when you were doing well, the returns were there for Buffalo. Was it a structural, in looking at the plays, did Buffalo do something?
Oh, well, there was a new scheme then on the first one. And then after that, I thought we did a nice job against the double team over there on the sideline. After the first one, I thought Anthony adjusted really well to that and made it cut back, and we tackled it. And then then there's like a fit here and a fit there. And if they, this is not an indictment on the officiating. I know what this is. And if they're going to grab you and they grab you like this, and we stand there head to head and nose to nose with them, that's not holding. It's not holding in this league, and I don't want it to be. And so you have to do enough to cause restriction at the point of attack so that they see that, and it gives them a reason to consider throwing a flag. So we have to understand that, and we have to be able to shed, and we have to be able to, create restriction at the point of attack. And we didn't do that. And then so that they blocked us, and we were content with that too many times.
It was sports that Ramondre had the penalty after the play.
That's a bad decision.
What's the messaging to the team when things hit chippy like that?
That's bad decision. It's what I told him in the moment. That's what I'll tell him again at 12:30. There's nothing else. It's what it is. He made a good play, good positive play. I don't think they did anything wrong. Hit him at the sideline and stood there, and we made a bad decision.
Looked like there was a wrinkle where they had an offensive lineman lead blocking on one of the kick returns. Was that a wrinkle you were expecting? And does that change your approach at all when you have a big man in the game like that?
Well, that's, a copycat from earlier in the season. They hadn't shown that, but we have to be prepared for things that show up on tape, and, being able to adjust. And, again, that's been a strength of ours on the kickoff coverage. And that was a strength of theirs coming in. We knew that was going to be a challenge. 98-yard touchdown against the Texans a few weeks ago. And, we weren't good enough, and, again, in that matchup.
How unexpected was what happened with Robert in the pregame warm-up, Spillane? Or was that sort of part of the plan, just knowing what he
Well, I just think it was just to see what we can get and see, whether he was going to be able to do it or it was going to be in an emergency role. And there's not a lot of depth there outside of him, and could have had a few guys up, but didn't think that was really going to make an impact on the game day roster. If it felt like, whether it's the 6th outside linebacker or the 6th receiver or the 4th tight end or whatever it may have been, I just didn't feel like that was going to make that much of a difference or a difference at all.
Note that obviously you guys have nice rotation of players. They've done a good job. You've mentioned Corey repeatedly. But does more of a burden fall, or do you expect more from Christian Barmore in terms of his playing ability?
We expect that in this league, we've said this, that your best players have to play good for you to win. And we consider him one of our better players. And just like other quarterback, we expect, quarterback's going to have to play good for us to win. Whoever we consider to be our best players, they have to play good in this league. That's what this thing comes down to. So we'll continue to find ways to make production and get stops and show everybody the good ones and the things that we need to improve on.
Mike, I was just curious, with the penalties you spoke
You guys got the same hat on, so.
I know. We planned it, actually.
Good.
Thought we'd switch
Sorry,
up on
go. I hate to. I just was like, those are the same hats.
With you spoke about the penalties this morning on the radio. I'm just curious. It did seem like some of the players also didn't agree with some of the calls. Or what's kind of your message to them to keep their head in the game? In that
There's nothing that we can do. They see what they see. They call it the best that they can. I'm confident in that. We have to know what it is that they're looking for to call penalties. I think they have mechanics that they're looking for, and we have to understand that, and we have to play to that. That no more, no less, and the officiating or the penalties weren't the reason that we lost.
Okay, Nick, you guys talked about having a coordinated rush.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us any insight as to what happened with the rush on the touchdown pass to Knox?
Yeah, it wasn't coordinated. It wasn't coordinated, and it was not executed properly. Coverage wasn't executed properly, and unfortunately, when you do that against a good player, they make you pay. Any mistakes that you make get magnified against an excellent quarterback.
2-minute drive at the end of the first half. Any thought to being more aggressive there, or was how much did just eating up the clock play into your decision?
Well, we were trying to be aggressive. We were trying, and I don't think that we wanted to get going there and make sure that you get the first down, and then you kind of get rolling. And then the decision, we had 23 seconds. I figured they were going to reverse that. Wanted to keep the timeout in case of an emergency. We were already in field goal range. I figured that we could use the timeout in case something happens. You get a 10-second runoff, all those things. I think it's important that you keep that timeout when you can. Went with that decision. I thought, with 6 seconds and 1 timeout, I thought that was very well executed for Ramondre to break free there. I thought about taking a shot, and again, is it 6.1 on the clock or is it 6.9? I would hate to look up there and have a go ball from the 30-yard line and look up and have it be 0 and not 1 and then look like an idiot. So if it was 6.9, I would have taken a shot. If it was 6.1, I probably would have done what we did, if that makes any sense. And for any of you.
And now, great moments in history.
Paul, I have something to take up with you, though. You just came out with your all-time number list for the Patriots.
Oh, good.
And I think it's a fun list. It's all in fun. I know that. But you've got the number 1, and you've got Cam Newton as the person who wore it best. And, he hasn't even been in a game yet. How can you put him on the list?
Best.
I mean, put Tony
He
Franklin
looks
there
better
if you
than
have
anybody
to.
else wearing it.
What?
He's already worn it best.
David Silverman's shot of him wearing the number 1
I
is already
think that there should
better
have
than
been
anybody else.
There should have been a rule that you have to have appeared in at least one game to be able to be on your list.
Do you have any sense of humor at all, Fred?
No, I know. But, I mean, it's just, come on. Come on.
Come on. Wait, what about Tony Franklin?
You know, maybe Dana Stubblefield should be in there somewhere, you know?
My favorite one was 43.
He was
called
99, right?
Ferguson.
Or was he 92?
I don't know.
That's another great moment from
All right, back here on Patriots Unfiltered. 855-PATS-500 is the hotline. Podcast at patriots.com is the email address. We've got some people that have been hanging on for the better part of more than an hour. Yeah.
Sorry, that was therapeutic.
No. We had,
to do it.
There's a lot to chew on.
we had a talk.
Good talk.
So let's start with Herb in D.C. What's up, Herb? And thanks for your patience, as No Socks would say.
Yeah, what's going on, fellas?
Hey. Okay.
I feel a little better now, to be honest with you, right? I think the thing is, I know that has been catching a lot of flack, and I feel like it was just an outlier performance, right? Granted, it's not a deal to give up 35 points in any game, but ultimately, I think that the job description of a number 3 pick, talk about Drake May, is he has to be overcome some of those things, right? If your left tackle is out, Spillane is out, the defense having a bad day, ultimately, I think he is part of his job description to be able to do.
I think your head coach agrees with you.
No.
Right, but having said that, I want to reiterate my personal confidence in him, saying that he will do this, right? That will come another time, whether it's over the next, 3-4 games, and in the postseason where he has to deliver, and he will. Because to me, he's not a mental midget, right? He's based on his upbringing and everything. Like, I'm pretty sure he'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, that we're all counting on that you're right and that he is the guy. So thanks, Herb, and thanks for holding on. Let's go up to Canada. Sean's in Vancouver. What's up, Sean?
I have to preface what I'm about to say by just pointing out that, yes, I am disappointed that the Patriots blew a 21-point lead, that they lost the Bills, and that they had huge issues in the red zone and run defense again. But, Fred, I also have to point out, like, I'm sorry, but the window for the Bills is not closed. I was speaking with someone who has no horse in this race, and they said, what a great game this was. It was just a fabulous game to watch on NFL. And I think, maybe for the next 10 years, this will be the case. You're going to see Drake May and Josh Allen games as NFL must-watch TV. These could be the 2 dominant teams in the AFC. And now, in terms of where we're going, I think the Bills are going to be the 5th seed, and they're going to have to, they'll probably win a game and then land up going to Denver. And the Patriots will probably be the 2 seed, and we'll have to face Houston at home in the playoffs. Hopefully, Patriots will prevail, but I don't know. Also, Paul, I want to point out, you were talking before last week about how you get things wrong. I want to point out how you get things right. I remember prior to 2022's draft, how you pointed out how Shakir is your long shot for the draft. Like, I think he went in the 5th round or something like that, and that was your guy. So you got to get props for that. I'll let you go and comment on that.
All right, thanks, Sean.
Thanks, Sean. As much as I agree with some of the first callers said, they did score 31 points. And if you're going to score 31 points,
should be enough to win.
You should be enough to win. He did not play well in the second half. Yep. And I understand the point that you have to keep scoring, and sometimes you're going to have to win a game 38-35 against Josh Allen, but I would, this one's just as much on the defense and the special teams as it is on Drake May.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
It's a total system breakdown.
Yep.
All 3 phases let him down.
Alex in Connecticut. What's up, Alex?
Hey, guys. Big fan of the show.
Thank you.
Long-time listener. I just wanted to say that I didn't want to lose, but I think that the Patriots needed a loss before the season ended, the regular season. I thought it was going to be against Baltimore, but to be honest, now I think we're going to come in and take care of them. I think the defense steps up and maybe holds them to 17, 21 points while the offense focuses on running the ball. I think we need to get that going because Drake seems like he's in some sort of, I don't even know the word for it, but I do think that he throws a deep touchdown because we didn't have much of that last game. I think a loss couldn't have come at a better time with 3 games to go, and that the team needed to really feel that. With that being said, I'm scared about the number 1 seed, and I'll take it off air. Thanks, guys.
Okay. I mean,
a long shot for
we're in
need
the
to
back
collapse
seat
now.
of the number 1 seed. We
need to collapse
Yeah,
for
we need
Denver.
Denver to lose a couple games here.
And
now they get
and as usual, Fred, where are those games going to be taking place?
In Denver.
2 of them.
and now they get Kansas City without Mahomes.
Right.
So
That's the one road game.
yeah,
Yeah. So I
the 1
would-
seed ain't looking good.
I'm more. I just want to win the AFC East. That's my big thing now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. But I just wonder, like, what are they going to benefit from what they learned? You know, like, what is the upshot of losing this game? Like, I get what he's saying. Like, you know, and I said earlier, it's a lot easier to build off of things, I think, when the team loses and you have their attention. But it hasn't really changed how I view the team, though. You know, and I don't know if, like, because they lost this game, now they're going to win a playoff game. Like, I still kind of see it the same way.
Yeah, I mean, like the
get it.
Pittsburgh game, they turned the ball over a bunch, and they did win or learn from that loss in that sense. But that was a tangible thing of like
turnovers.
You turned it over 5 times, and that's why you lost. I will say defensively, I said it earlier, like you need to be more buttoned up than that in these big games.
Yep.
And I wonder if this is kind of a wake up call to have the focus be a little bit more. Like when you're playing the offenses that they have been playing, you don't necessarily need to be on your P's and Q's like you do against Buffalo and Baltimore and the teams you're going to play in the playoffs. So hopefully they look at it and say, like, you know, we can't have all these breakdowns, mental breakdowns. It's one thing to get beat. It's another thing to kind of hand them things.
Right, and then it shines on your lack of talent, too. I mean, I think when a defense plays really well together, you can cover up some of those things, but when you don't have, your best players playing the best or they're not in there and then you realize like the linebackers look a lot like the linebackers did last year where it's tough for them to make plays and to anticipate, to get off of blocks. And, it's just that the performance reminded me a lot of last year's, defense, watching
the tailpipe,
watching them, just behind the play, it's already, James Cook's already going. And another point was, I think they missed like 10 tackles too. I mean, that's a problem from earlier in the season that had kind of rectified itself. I think that's another symptom of overall.
But that's another example. What Evan's talking about is when you've played against teams that aren't really capable of
taking advantage of bad football,
making you miss a tackle.
There you go.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like you're playing against, James Cook. He's a little bit better than, Travis Tracy or whatever. What's Tracy's name?
Tyrone Tracy.
Tyrone.
I think, right?
He's a better player.
I don't know. I know it's Tracy.
I think
Devin Singletary. James Cook replaced Devin Singletary. That was a huge upgrade.
Yeah.
For Buffalo. That's the offenses they have been playing. Those guys aren't really capable of making your sort of weaknesses exposed.
Yeah, well, there was no real bad football to take advantage of with the Bills. It's a great baseline when you're trying to play a 4th place schedule and win some games, and there's going to be bad football, but
there was, but it was terrible football from the Buffalo perspective on that 65-yard touchdown. And you go back and watch AJ Epinesa. Like I've never played defensive line in my life, and I can tell you that he broke every rule of defensive line play. Backside defensive end, like gives ground. It goes like 3 yards upfield. Like, I don't know where you were going, but all you need to do is stay where you are and make sure that guy can't cut back.
Yeah.
He should have cut back right into him.
Yeah.
But did you see the replay of this, what I'm talking about?
No.
He slams down into the pile.
There's no edge.
Gives Henderson no resistance whatsoever. Like, that's bad football, and Trevion Henderson took advantage of it.
Yeah, it was almost like a kickoff, like the old way.
Yeah.
Because you always, when you talk about kickoff, you don't want guys in the same lanes, right?
It's a great
cave down.
analogy.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. And that's his job, is to be backside guy. Don't let the guy come back.
Yeah.
Cut back.
Doug in New Hampshire wants to know, do you think no Spillane wearing the green dot led to the disjointed defensive scheme?
It could have been part of it, for sure.
Didn't help.
He's the key guy in the middle. And I mean, another thing that, was more sunshine and rainbows, but it's just, his presence. He's a fiery guy. Like, is there a speech in him of, all right, we need one stop here, and maybe they respond? I don't know. I mean, I just think in a game like this, missing him did not help matters at all.
Cody writes in, Bills fans have really been backing McDermott after the Mike Vrabel blaming the refs narrative. While I feel Mike's comments have taken wildly out of context, Bills fans backing McDermott and saying he would never blame the ref is great. I actually think the Bills should give him a lifetime coaching contract due to those facts.
Just really quickly on the Spillane thing, and I do want to say something about that. With Spillane, like a lot of Paul shows are kind of like, we're not giving them Spillane. Like,
that's Fred.
Yeah, no, that he's out. He's not a good enough player. But when every run is right up the gut, where you're
to say that they didn't miss Spillane is, I think, silly.
But like, especially with the way that they ran the football on them, like that would literally be right at Robert Spillane. And to think that he's not a little bit more equipped to stop that,
of course,
than Jack Gibbons or Christian Ellis, I think is just being short-sighted a little bit.
Sure.
The Bills fans' reaction to Mike Vrabel's comments about the refs.
I wasn't aware of this.
So I don't care about the fans. I say this all the time.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't care about the fans. I don't. Like you be fan however you want to fan. The Bills media has taken more exception to it than the fans. And it's like, why do you care? Like,
you don't think our media would do the same
I was going to say
thing?
the Patriots media is the one who's bringing up the officiating. That's how do you think Mike Vrabel talked about it?
Listen, I love Mike Vrabel, and I know where he was coming from. I agree with him. But he opened him up for this. He opened himself up for this.
Sure, and whatever. He's a big guy. He can handle it.
Yeah,
but I'm surprised about how much of a story this has been turned into.
This is the soap opera.
I didn't realize that.
This is why football's great. You play in the weekend, and during the week, it's all this crap.
Well, I bet
that is part of what makes
I'm
it
talking
great.
about, like people that cover the Bills that are on their beat. Yeah, I don't know. Like
this is the drama. This is the soap opera.
Yeah, I have zero time for that.
I'm
and
more
also
with Evan. Like if you're the media guy, you're supposed to be covering the game, like not
Paul,
the
that
officials.
went away a long time ago.
But I know when it's and can I be disappointed?
Nostalgic?
Can I be
Immense?
disappointed by that?
Yeah.
Like that no one cares about actually covering the
they
games
care about
anymore.
clicks and ratings.
Just the crying over, he's blaming the refs. Well, like it just
to me,
it's just like, are you a fanboy? Are you a fanboy or are you covering
he
the
comes
team?
in and sits right where Mike is right now, and they're bombarding him with questions about the officiating. Like that's the best you can come up with. You blew a 21-point lead, and you're asking why they didn't get called for holding.
But like
that was the best the media could come up with for questions.
Again, though,
it's embarrassing.
I separate EEI in your shows.
Well, the questions were asked on the press conference yesterday too.
Well, because they were asked yesterday as a follow-up to what he said on the radio.
Fair. That's fair. But I think they would have been asked anyway.
I just look at the radio side of it as a little different than like the beat reporter side of it.
I think it's all the same.
No,
I think it's just all rah, 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 sis, boom, bop.
But do you understand what I'm saying? Though? Like it's a different.
We got wrong.
It's a different. It's a different cap. Like it's a different type of media.
It should be.
Right?
On the other hand, just think the officials are incompetent in every game. I just don't think they favor your team or the other team.
But that's one thing to say that, which is true. But to then the response to the Vrabel stuff from Buffalo's media has been a little much.
I am not aware of the response from the Buffalo side. I am aware of it.
I'm going to get attacked now, just like I did with the Broncos.
No,
but this is just like
you play that role. You're the bad guy,
at me, bro.
It's just a little weird
Evan
to
Lazar,
me.
well,
Like
say hello to the
they
bad
spent
guy.
all day crying about it.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
yeah, I don't like that. I think if Buffalo is crying about Vrabel's reaction, that's weak.
Yeah,
I agree with Evan on that. But like the whole thing, like Fred, I know you didn't like it either.
Listen, I remember in the win game when we beat them. I don't know what was it, 6-0 or whatever the score was, and everybody was all over McDermott and his
14-10.
reaction after the game.
Yeah, but it wasn't about the officials.
No. But he just his reaction.
Yeah,
you know.
The call that, and I know that Fred, you didn't love the Carlton Davis PI, where he tugged the shirt.
Yeah,
didn't really
I
feel
thought it
like
was a
there was
weak
much
call.
of a restriction. I agree with Fred. I thought it was a little ticky-tack.
Yeah.
I've been told, and I didn't really see this live, people have told me that the flag came out so late because the guy was trying to get the flag out and had a hard time.
Okay,
That's why the
whatever.
flag came out as late as it did, because I was really bothered by the timing as well.
Yeah.
I was like, that's ridiculous. You know,
I LOL'd.
and you guys know I don't usually. I was
No.
like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it was
and
like,
I don't usually do
oh,
that
nice,
in the
they're
press
getting off.
box.
All right, wait, what?
You don't.
So I didn't like that call, and I have no problem with coaches, whether it's McDermott or Vrabel. I have no problem. You didn't like that call. you're a big boy. You can tell me you didn't like it. I don't like Harbaugh complaining about the Isaiah Likely thing the week prior. That's very specific. What I didn't like, what Mike did here with EEI was, well, the Bills lead the league in holding calls, and you think they would get at least one holding call during the course of the game. Well, what specifically are you talking about, Mike? Was there, did Osiris Torrance tackle Corey Durden on the 11-yard touchdown run, and you think there should have been holding? Then say it.
Mm-hmm.
They averaged 2 holding calls a game. They got 1. He said they didn't get any. They did. And by the way, it was a rather important one that took away a go-ahead touchdown.
It was a hold.
They just happened to score a touchdown on the next play. So you forget it. But they did get called for holding, and it was an important one.
And it was a legit call.
Right.
There were a couple, but there's a couple every single week in the trenches where you say this could have been a hold.
But you know what my point is? Hey, this play right here, they were holding. They held Christian Barmore in this play. They should have called holding on this.
Oh,
as opposed to,
I am sure he has sent that to the league.
No, and Barmore has. I use Barmore because he has been outspoken. So, he actually talks to Evan a lot about it. He's like, bro, tell him I'm getting held. I'm getting held.
He that in double teams.
If John Harbaugh is saying specifically this play right here, we think that they missed one here, as opposed to just sort of the generic.
Well, he wants to toe the line.
Holding calls.
He doesn't want to question a specific call because they'll get fined.
I'm sure he can get fined for saying what he said.
Sure maybe, but
if you're going to get fined, you're criticizing the officials. That's what you're going to get fined for. So, I just
he
would
just
say,
thought it was, we couldn't figure it out. How is the team
up?
Right?
I just don't think it's all that out of the ordinary for a team that averages 2 holds a game to get called for 1.
I just don't understand why
it's not like they were called for 8.
Offended. Why are you? Why are you?
That's baby talk.
Why are you
Buffalo.
personally offended that Vrabel said that? I don't.
Baby talk.
I'm sorry.
If the Buffalo media is taking that as a crusade, that's baby talk.
But they're just creating controversy. It's ratings and clicks. That's all it is.
Yeah.
This isn't.
It's unfortunate.
This is Buffalo.
It's unfortunate that's what it's deteriorated to.
Well, I would just hope they hear the voices that say Josh Allen's awesome and he did Josh Allen things, and I have a lot of respect for him as a player. The Patriots have to be better to slow down Josh Allen.
But if they're really listening to New England, then they're not getting a lot of that. They get it here on this show, but they don't get it a lot when they listen to the media around here.
Russell in Florida, speaking of the refs, just now turning in, what did you guys think of the PI and Marcus Jones on the deep ball? Seems like Jones clearly picked it. I don't think so, but might have gotten there a bit early, and the call to give Buffalo the reception, I think, was ridiculous. Also, Fred's prayers were finally answered with the Mahomes injury. The wannabe dynasty falls. Anyway, on that play, I wasn't up in arms about that play. And here's the way I saw it. The ball, no one possessed the ball until it was on the ground. And at that point, it's like 50-50. You go with the offense on those calls. Now, forget about the flag. I'm not even talking about the flag.
The simultaneous catch tie.
Simultaneous catch goes to the offense. I don't think either player had the ball while they were falling down. I think it was being negotiated at that point.
I agree with Fred. I think that play was properly officiated. It's a tough call. I thought he got there early. I thought he interfered, and I thought Shakir had the ball, and then Jones got it when they were on the ground.
Yeah,
that's how we ended up with it.
I generally agree. I still, when I went back and watched it, it looked closer than I realized.
Oh, it was
Marcus
very
catching
close.
the ball too. I wouldn't say Shakir caught it. I guess to your point,
I don't think either one.
They both had it.
He took possession of it on the ground, like he was 50-50.
That's when Jones got the ball on the ground. I agree with Fred on that.
Right.
Yeah. No, it was. He got there a little early.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Now, whether or not it was PI, I don't know. But at the end of the day, they called it a catch, so it doesn't matter whether it was PI.
I just like the way Marcus Jones plays.
Oh yeah.
He's not going to give you a thing.
That play was frustrating to watch because they knew it was coming. They knew they were going to get that exact play call, and they had to check for it. They had it all perfectly covered. And Allen just throws a freaking dime to Shakir, and it's this simultaneous catch thing, and wasn't it? And I was like,
my guy Shakir did not play that well, by the way. He should have put his foot down and jumped back into Marcus Jones, and then it's clear and obvious pass interference because Jones was out of position on the play and not really looking at the time, and they kind of both drifted. And I think Shakir was, I give Shakir some credit because instead of, being a baby and looking for a call, he was trying to make a play on the ball and trying to catch it, but I think he would have gotten both had he just fought back through the contact.
Those are the ones, though, that drive you nuts because it's you practice this all week, that they're in this situation, they're going to call mesh, and this is what you're going to get. This is how we're going to cover it. And they were right on it, and they just made the play.
Yeah. Norman Daytona Beach writes in about the Buffalo media. What else would you expect from a 4-time Super Bowl loser? Here. Here.
I'm an ally of Bills Mafia too, so I know that this is going to come off as a bad thing for me to say.
You're an ally of Bills Mafia? Are you an honorary member?
No. But I have friends in the Mafia, and
you know some people.
And,
you know some people,
and I like them for the most part. This particular one, I was like, this has really gotten under your skin that he said this, huh?
Yeah.
Like,
I saw a stupid internet thing that made me just summed up the internet and social media for me. It was like a Bills fan going at Patriots fans with like an AI of Josh Allen holding a Super Bowl trophy, and it's like, Drake May will never know what this is like. And I'm like, what? Like, Josh Allen doesn't know what it's like. Like, what are you doing? Like, we've lost the plot.
Jack in Inaba about cold weather clothing and Brady. He said Brady once said that his freshman roommate at Michigan taught him all about how to dress for the cold there. He said there is no such thing as bad weather in Michigan. There is only bad clothing.
It was Jacques Cousteau.
There you go.
I don't know.
Ellen, Wisconsin,
cold no matter what
said
you do.
Drake actually talked about the sleeve thing on one of Paul's shows yesterday. He did say he's figuring it out, but mentioned he prefers sleeveless because that's how he's used to practicing. Or maybe in the cold weather he should practice differently.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Something to watch.
Yeah.
Evolving Drake.
Good stuff. All right, back to the phones. 1-800 what's the number? 855 past 500. There you go.
That's the one.
Paul's like, oh, come on.
Numbers are hard.
508-298-0398. Is that the old number?
That was the old number. You still remember that?
Whose number are you giving out right
Give that out. People
I don't think-
call it
yeah.
some lady in Wisconsin to be
I don't
like,
think
hello?
that's the number. I think it's just the 800 number now, or the 855.
Vinny's in New Haven. Hey, Vinny.
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. I went to the game on Sunday.
Oh, sorry.
It was just a victory just to get there. It was, what a fun first half. I was really loving watching Ramondre Stevenson get those tough yards and Trayvon Henderson. And I guess, when I think about the second half, I'm thinking it's a little unfortunate our defense wasn't able to hold the Bills to a field goal once or twice. But on the offensive side, I'm just curious, and I'm sorry if you guys cover this early in the show. I'm coming in late, and I love Josh McDaniels, but do we have any idea of what he might have been seeing or why he was approaching the second half? Because I feel like we should have been running the ball more and controlling the clock and keeping Josh Allen off the field. All in all, they put up 31 points, and, we saw a lot of games this year where the defense would give up the touchdown on the opening drive, and this was a little bit different. And I'm just sort of wondering if you guys have any insight as to what Josh McDaniels was thinking in terms of how he approached the second half.
I'm sure he'll be asked about it tomorrow.
Vinny.
I mean, we haven't spoken to him since the game, so I'm sure that'll be a question for him tomorrow. The one thing I will say, and we talked a little bit about it off air, is like sometimes there's two plays called in the huddle, and the quarterback checks in and out of the play based off of the coverage or what the defense is showing him. So it's possible that they might have had a few more runs like called technically that then were checked out of into passes. And I'm not saying that that's anybody's fault. It's just sometimes, when you get these questions, you hear coaches say that a lot. Well, they were giving us this, so we checked into a pass on, 3 or 4 times, and that skews the numbers. Or maybe they were, RPOs in there and they converted to throws instead of runs, or vice versa. There's all these certain different minutia, but it's a fair question that I'm sure he'll get asked about.
It is.
Let's go to Canada. Tony's up there. Hey, Tony.
Hey, guys, that was a hard loss to take on Sunday, but a couple things. Yeah, I agree. Actually, I was surprised that when we were at the end, last drive there, that we didn't have at least one running play when it was 3rd and 5 and then 4th and 5. But like Alex said, I guess things can change at the line of scrimmage. I think we have to, and you guys tell me, I think we have to win out the next 3 games to finish in the AFC, to win the championship for the AFC East. So that's all I wanted to say, and I'll listen to the rest of the show. Thanks.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Any comments? No.
I mean, I would just say, like, the last drive, 3rd and 5, there's, no timeouts left, and you're on your own 25-yard line down 4 points. I don't think you can afford to run the ball for 6 yards to try to get a first down.
Right.
Like, that's not the 25 seconds or so that's going to take is not worth the first down.
Important question for Paul, says Anthony. During our win streak, quite a few people wrote in to say we aren't playing our best and we need to be more consistent. Paul said that he thinks we are playing as good as we can, and it was hard to argue. Now, after Sunday's game, I have a question. They scored 31 points, all on offense, no turnovers, no special teams.
Correct.
But it was very clear they didn't play their best ball, particularly in the second half. My question is it fair to say we didn't play our best game even though we put up 31, which was one of the higher scores in weeks?
I would say no. I would say that I think people are expecting perfection from a team that is a little bit flawed. You're well ahead of schedule. You can't score. This is not to be confused with like Kurt Warner's Rams, like where they're just going to score. They're going to score every time they get the ball. They scored 31 points. That's a lot. And he's right. There were no defensive points in there. There were no
Marcus Jones returns.
No returns. No defensive scores. I don't know what you're expecting from Mac Hollins and Demario Douglas and Stephon Diggs. Like, I don't know if you can ask for much more than you got on Sunday. Now, they didn't finish the game. That's disappointing. We talked about it the whole first hour of the show, all the different things that were disappointing. But the very first thing that Evan said, I would wholeheartedly agree with. You're as good as the teams that you're playing against now. But don't confuse that to be that you're better than everybody and that you can just roll and score 60 because you're that good. They played pretty well for large stretches of the game, just not well enough. The other team's pretty good too. Now, do you realize that that's 3 games that they played against teams with winning records? You're 1-2.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing as well as you can play. I don't think that they underachieved Sunday.
Yeah, this is probably a better topic for, if they lose in the playoffs, but I think your point about this might be the ceiling of this roster because they might be an offseason away from really having the talent to hang 41 points on the board against Buffalo in a big game. We talk a lot about the second half offense, and the numbers aren't good in the second half. But is it possible that the reason that they can't sustain offense into the second half is because they just don't quite have the talent yet to do that? But again, let's see how it goes in the playoffs. Like maybe that does get corrected for the playoffs. But if we go into the offseason, let's say they lose in the playoffs, we're probably going to say, they just didn't quite have
They're just not
the
ready
roster yet.
Yeah, just not there yet.
And they could win. Like, they could have won the game Sunday.
Right. Oh, that's why I want to,
let's just say, for argument's sake, that they get that run from Henderson, they go up 31-28, and then the defense holds it out, and you win 31-28. So you're suddenly good enough now?
Right.
Like, as opposed to not like, if you're Buffalo, I know we're very Patriot-centric, and we should be. But if you're Buffalo, you're looking at that game in a little bit of a different way. You're looking at it and say, geez, I'll tell you, if we can just eliminate these big plays, we're better than them. We could have gotten separation from them, but we allow a 50-something yard run and a 60-something yard run, and that allowed them to maintain their lead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're Buffalo, you're looking at, we just got to button it up and make sure that we don't give them easy touchdowns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they didn't play well either on defense. I mean, they allowed 31 points.
Yeah.
John writes in, the hypocrisy of the refs need to be studied.
Yeah.
Or in the words of the great Jim Murray, the refs need to be put in jail.
Jailed.
Jim Murray,
smells. Throw him in jail.
The no PI call for Hollins and the PI call against Marcus Jones is proof someone in Vegas made a phone call. There was substantially more interruption on the Drake May interception intended to Hollins than the call against Jones versus Shakir. 2 game-changing decisions by the refs. If either one went the other way, the Patriots would have held the lead.
Well, I would just, like, the Marcus Jones one, I agree. I didn't think it was DPI, but it was a catch for Shakir.
He ruled it a catch.
So, like, it's going to be a 37-yard play for Shakir, regardless of if it's a penalty or not. So that one,
but everybody's convinced it was an interception. So that's where you're wrong, Ev.
But you'd have to overturn 2 things now. 1, it wasn't a penalty, and 2, it wasn't a catch by the Bills.
I'm not saying never. The simultaneous catch thing happens like more frequently than you think.
Often.
And that's the rule.
It just happened the previous week with Aaron Rodgers.
Right. It's tie goes to the runner. Like in baseball. That's the rule. That ball was standing as a catch for Shakir.
That one didn't kill me. It was the Davis one is the one that I was upset about.
So can I just say one thing too?
Yeah.
You know, like with the officiating thing, which I hate officials. You guys know that. So first, let's go to the first drive of the game for both teams. There's a 30-yard pass down the sideline to Kayshon Boutte. That Gene Steratore, evidently, and you were listening to the broadcast, Fred, said that if this had gone to replay, it would have gotten overturned. There's no expedited replay for some reason on this one, so obviously the officials were in the take against the Bills. Because on the next drive, Brandon Cooks makes a catch that he bobbles on the sideline, and originally is called a catch. Bills are getting ready to snap the ball, and no, expedited replay, the play has been ruled incomplete. So one play has an expedited replay, no challenge necessary. Another play, no expedited replay, and the Bills needed to challenge, didn't get a chance to because the Patriots wisely snapped the ball. Is that an hypocrisy?
Right.
Or is that just incompetence?
Right.
John Hussey's involved. Big shock.
I mean,
there was no control in the game. How many times do we hear from John Hussey?
He's not a great ref.
Please reset the game clock to 23 seconds. No, there's no runoff.
Sorry for the confusion. We got it right.
We got it right, though. We got it right, though. Oh, I feel much better now, John. You got it right.
And the replay assist is kind of broken, too.
Do you know what I mean?
Every week it's like, wait, what? Wait, are you sure that
the guy happened to be watching that play?
Yeah.
It seems that way.
There was a first down that the Bills ran for, and they called it a first down in the field. All of a sudden, no, the ball's been respotted, expedited replay. It's actually short of the line to gain. So now the Bills got to run a quarterback sneak to get the first down. Like, there's all kinds of things that you could look at as possible impropriety. I don't think it's impropriety. I think it's incompetence.
Max in Santa Barbara, just a few thoughts. One, seeing Nix, Daniels, and Williams, it looks to me like they have a more aggressive set of play calls. Two, Mike and company have to improve this defense, especially the secondary. Three,
Deuce.
If Phillip Rivers can come out of retirement after 5 years, is it too outrageous to call Gronk and offer him $500,000 or more? Let him work out for 2 or 3 weeks, maybe have him play some snaps in Game 17 and have him ready for the playoffs? All he can say is no. The red zone offense would certainly be upgraded. Anyway, let's not let the success of the past spoil things now. We are way ahead of schedule on this rebuild. Love the show since 03. Party on.
Oh, Gronk officially retired. So, I don't think he.
So did Phillip
Rivers. He could always come out of
retirement.
Yeah, Phillip Rivers had a retirement press conference with the Chargers.
Yeah.
He literally had one with the Chargers.
We'll get more of that, I'm sure, tomorrow. But he did all right. I mean, he didn't light it up. A lot of short.
Oh, Peter. Oh, yeah.
A lot of short.
I was rooting for him. I didn't want the Colts to win, but he won me over. Just watching him play, I was like, I want to see Phillip Rivers.
He didn't do anything special, but a lot of little short throws.
Yeah.
But and the Colts defense obviously played a really good game and kept them in it. But he did all right.
He did. I mean, I didn't know what I was expecting because I just. But
I have a take here too. Have you heard a lot of this? What an indictment on the NFL and the lack of being able to develop quarterbacks. And I'm like, how many quarterbacks should the Colts be expected to have? They're on their 4th quarterback. They can't just take someone else's backup.
Right.
And plug him in. Would that be a better option? Marcus Mariota would be a better option for the Colts.
Riley Leonard would have played if he was healthy.
Yeah. Right.
Or Anthony Richardson for that.
If Anthony Richardson didn't, have that mishap with the thing that hit him in the face.
The TRX ban.
Yeah. He'd have been the backup quarterback. We wouldn't be talking about this. But you can't just take someone else's backup and play him. Where else were they to be expected to get a guy off the street that would know the offense and be able to play in a game?
And at that point, you're still in the playoff mix. I mean, you're very much
I don't look at this as an embarrassment of the NFL and an indictment on their ability. And that's widespread. I guess I'm in the minority on that. But I don't know what else.
Yeah.
I don't know what a better option was,
especially with
for the Colts.
The emergency quarterback rule now. A lot of teams like the Patriots are carrying 3 on the active roster because you can make one inactive, like they have been with Tommy DeVito. So there actually is even fewer quarterbacks on practice squads at the moment because a lot of teams are carrying 3 on the 53-man roster, not 2 and 1.
But even if there was a Bailey Zappi on someone's practice squad, and I don't know if he's on Cleveland's practice squad or on the active roster.
I think he's on the roster now.
Yeah. So, but let's just say for argument's sake, he was on the practice squad. Yeah, you can sign a guy like that off a practice squad and bring him in Is that a better option? A guy who, I mean, if you have a guy that maybe spent some time with Shane Steichen, and he's on a practice squad, then I could make an argument that's a better option. But unless you could give me an example of that, I just don't. I don't look at this as an embarrassment.
No, I almost think the opposite is true. I mean, if you go back to the end of Brady's career, that felt like there was no quarterback coming out, no quarterbacks developing, but I feel like it's gotten better. I look around the league. There's a lot of really good.
Are in a pretty good
depth
spot
is always
right now.
going to be hard, but 32. If you took the 32, how many are really good? I think.
How
you're
many
at a pretty
guys
good
are
level
we
right
looking at in the league right now that are reasonably, like Trevor Lawrence, and we think they stink?
Yeah.
He's on the practice squad in Cleveland by the Zappy because they have like 17 quarterbacks.
Right. So if he had some experience with Steichen, you could make an argument for that, something like that. But like, what would you rather have if you were a Colts fan? Phillip Rivers or Bailey Zappi?
Yeah. What's the difference?
You think Drew's got a few in him if they needed it?
No, they tried to get him a couple. Jacksonville. This is a while ago now, and he was already. He's like, no.
Yeah.
Jeremiah says, I saw that Andrew Callahan said that the Patriots hardly ran any play action, which seems really surprising considering that we had such success running the ball in the first half. Is there any reason why we moved away from it, especially with Drake struggling throughout the game?
They ran 3 play action dropbacks, which is low. But when you play, certain defenses, play action works better against. Normally, when you play zone defenses, you like to run play action because those players, are they dropping into coverage or are they coming up to stop the run? But when you play, a team that plays a lot of man-to-man coverage, it doesn't have that same effect on the defense because it's just, I have this guy, and there's less run responsibilities for those players. So there was probably something like that going on with Buffalo as to what they were seeing from what they were doing, that they didn't feel like play action was going to work. I do also kind of feel like people just use play action as well, if nothing's working, just run play action. It's this kind of
whatever they're
cheat
doing,
code.
whatever they did, and it doesn't work, it was wrong. And I get it. That's what comes. That's part of the territory. Josh McDaniels is a big boy. That's part of the offensive coordinator territory.
Mm-hmm. But they were getting a decent amount of man coverage, from Buffalo, and there's a dissertation somewhere on the internet of Bill Belichick talking about why you don't call play action as often against man coverage. That's who I learned it from, so I'll find it someday.
Who else is going to bite on the running back other than the guy who's got him, right?
Right.
The safeties aren't,
Yeah, no one's paying attention.
Right.
Chris writes, sends me a picture that's going around on Reddit that he says proves that Marcus Jones caught the ball.
Is that the picture?
I'm looking at the picture, and all it proves is
nothing.
that Shakir didn't. That's all it proves.
It proves that both guys have the hands on the ball.
Yeah, well, Shakir looks like he has his hands on Marcus Jones, but to me, it's still neither one of them has possession.
I think our fan base is smart enough to not fall into screenshot.
I love the screenshot stuff, but it looks like that's the ball. No,
that's his elbow.
But no,
is that the ball?
Oh, it's somewhere in there, but who has it?
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
That's my point.
I think both of them do. I think Marcus Jones had his hands on the ball. I'm not saying Jones didn't have the ball.
Right.
But
you guys
the
are
rule
smarter
is
than
if it's dual possession, it goes to the offense.
You can never do screenshots. That's not. It doesn't.
My favorite
do
is
it justice.
screenshots on holds. Those are my favorites. Fred used to send those to me all the time.
The best are he's wide open, with no context at all.
Right. Meanwhile,
Drake's looking
the
at the other
quarterback's
side of the
being
field.
sacked.
Quarterback's on the right sideline, and the receiver's all by himself on the left sideline.
Just throw it to him. He's open.
But I like Reddit.
Me too.
Let's go to Charles in North Carolina. What's up, Charles?
Hey, what's going on, folks? First-time caller, long-time listener.
Oh, thank you.
And every live channel, so I appreciate you guys
appreciate
taking the phone for me. Quick question. I've been on hold for a couple of minutes. I kind of forgot. Okay, yeah. I know we run a buffet kind of offense, and Drake May finds the open guy, and I'm happy with that. We got a lot of players on the team, especially in the wide receiver room, but what do you guys think about maybe trying to get Stephon Diggs a little more involved, not trying to force feed him, but, maybe say he's our best playmaker, see if he can start making some more plays for us? And another question is, how kind of concerned are you guys with Baltimore's run game with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, with Milton Williams being out? I know Kyrus Tonkin came back and he kind of helped, but I feel like Milton Williams' presence in the middle is still being missed. And then we got Devon Achane and Breece Hall coming up in the last 3 weeks. So how do you guys feel about our ability to still be able to stop the run coming up here in the next few weeks?
Yeah, I'm worried about that, Charles. I mean, it's Tonga came back, but it didn't look good.
Major concern.
Yeah, it didn't look good,
especially this week.
Yeah. So
Baltimore's had other issues on their roster. Their running game is as good as it always is.
Now, I've always been under the belief that any NFL team, if they really sell out, can stop the run to a degree. But what are you giving up? What are you sacrificing?
Go goal line.
And can you give that up? Can you overcome what you're sacrificing by selling out against the run?
There was definitely some times in this game where they were kind of running like 4 or even just like lighter 5-man fronts, where I thought to myself, like, is this really that Buffalo team where like you're so afraid of Allen in the passing game that you're trying to stop the run out of light boxes, or you're running 4-man fronts instead of putting more guys on the line of scrimmage? I just don't know if that is where Buffalo is at. Like, Buffalo right now, their best player besides Allen is James Cook, and it's not particularly close.
No.
And so I don't know, if you play him a third time, you do wonder if, like, can you get a little bit bigger on the line of scrimmage? Can you put some more beef on the line and maybe try to stop the run a little bit more that way? But every time you talk to players, not nerds like me, that you ask them about stopping the run, the first thing that they say is that it's a mentality.
Sure.
It's a want to. It's a mentality. It's not. They don't talk X's and O's. They don't talk technique even. They talk about, you need to go into the game and say, not today. Like, we're not gonna get run on. And that's what the Patriots are going to have to do on Sunday night, because their Jimmys and Joes ain't going to get any better. Like, it's going to be this group.
Right. Stephen in Fort Drum, my wife and I are active duty Army. Thank you for your service. And we met in college at Norwich, but she and her family are from Buffalo and are huge Bills fans. We've been together for 6 years now, and this time of year has always been contentious, as my in-laws describe me as insufferable to the extended family. We recently bought a house, and I have to say the worst part about Sunday's loss isn't the 21-point blown lead, but the fact that I can't bitch about it in my own house. All jokes aside, by being constantly behind enemy lines, I can confidently report that the Bills fans are scared of the Patriots. For Buffalo, it's Super Bowl or bust this year. Anything less is a complete choke and a humiliation. For New England, at worst, we are the perfect Buffalo spoiler team, and at best, we win a 7th ring.
Yeah, I agree. I'd be feeling that. If I was a Buffalo Bills fan, I'd feel the same kind of pressure I felt when, Brady and Belichick were in their prime, and it was just, that's what it was about. And when you see a year line up like this where your boogeyman is out of the way now, what excuse do you have?
I wouldn't feel like that, because I feel like they have a guy that they didn't have in all those years. They would go to the gunfight with not even a knife. Now it's a gunfight. They can win a game like they did Sunday. They couldn't win that game against Brady.
That is how they win games.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, the script of Sunday is how they've won all of their games.
And if I was Buffalo, that's how I would feel. Like, okay, yeah, he's good. He's really good. I think that Drake May is going to be excellent. I have a guy who's can match him and be better than him.
I do agree
they
with
didn't
Deuce,
have that. They didn't have that in the Brady era.
Well,
I do think they're feeling some pressure.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Absolutely. To me, the pressure is no Mahomes, no Burrow.
Yeah, that's the point I was trying to make.
Pressure.
Yeah, no, that was the point. I wasn't trying to make a point about the Patriots. I was just saying, throw the Patriots out of it. Just look at Buffalo. What stopped them? Like, now's the chance.
I agree with you on that. I'm just talking about the emailer with. Yeah, we're gonna do that again.
Wasn't expecting that.
Like we did on our broadcast.
We're gonna do it. Yeah, we're gonna do it.
That was good.
I used the 24 Celtics comparison, I think, last week about, like, the Celtics when they won the title, the seas like parted for them in the like Giannis got hurt, everybody got hurt or got knocked out by another team or something like that, and they like had this easy path. I'm not saying Buffalo is gonna have a cakewalk.
Yeah, it's
path,
not going to be an easy path.
But at the same time, like they are the best team on paper, and the team that has the best quarterback.
Yep.
So they should win.
Yeah.
So if you were a betting person and you had really good odds for Buffalo against the field to get to the Super Bowl, would you take that bet?
Sure.
The field?
I take the field.
I would take the field because they're going to be on the road.
Right.
And because they're
going to win 3 road games.
Because they choke.
Yeah. To me, the bigger thing is that they're going to be on. Now, to your point, maybe that'll somehow weirdly alleviate the pressure a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, we got to win 3 road games. For them, I think that it's important that they finish well in and slide up to the 5 spot, which would give them a chance to, a decent chance to avoid Denver.
Yeah.
Because then if 6 or 7 can win in that game, 6, 7, they can possibly, that team would go to Denver instead.
Yeah.
If the Patriots are 2 and they play 7, the Patriots win. And then, the 3 is going to be, either Houston or Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
If that 6 can beat the 3, then they would go to Denver.
Yeah, right.
If
then you
if
get
Buffalo is
Pittsburgh.
5,
Then you get Pittsburgh, right?
They would get Buffalo.
Yeah.
I definitely think, and
Buffalo
I know
would
it's-
beat
Buffalo go to
Pittsburgh. Not going to win.
No, I know. I'm saying for the. I was saying for the Patriots too.
I know I was kind of making fun of the Bills media earlier, but like you can kind of feel it and see it with the fans and the media in Buffalo that like this is like they're starting to feel the pressure a little bit about maximizing Allen. Like you need to like win one eventually.
I could understand that.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I think that's some of the Vrabel stuff. Like I think that's where some of that reaction is coming from.
Yeah.
Is that like this should be their year?
Yeah.
Like this is the year for them to win.
He's 29 years old. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
it's the time is now.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, does Baltimore win these games?
Yeah, yeah.
And is it so? If you do slide up to 5, do you go? Is it Baltimore? Is it Buffalo at Baltimore?
Yeah.
Which to me changes the whole complexion of
Yeah,
things. And then you want to stay 6 so you can go play, Jacksonville or Houston.
So the bottom line is just don't think about it. You just try to win games.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Kendall's in North Carolina. What's up, Kendall?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
I'm probably going to the Baltimore game this weekend. I want to know if I know any rally parties that's going to be in the area.
There is going to be a huge one, and I don't have the information in front of me. So probably by tomorrow's show at noon, somebody will send it to me, and I'll announce it on the show tomorrow. Or you can go to the Patriots tailgate page on Facebook. I know Barry Inseong usually has all that information. So it's called Patriots Tailgate. It's on Facebook to get it, or to listen tomorrow, and I'll tell you all about it, Kendall. Thanks for the call. Danny's in Daytona. What's up, Danny?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Danny?
Hey, so today I called it on Sunday. So after the whole past couple of days of, depressing, from the game and starting to realize that, the loss was, I guess, a good teaching point that everyone's called in and said about. One thing I still want to keep harping on is the special teams. I think the Patriots should move in a different direction with the punter and the coordinator, just for various reasons. We just, over the last couple of years, even long before Jeremy Springer was here, we just have had wild inconsistencies on special teams. And for a unit like that, it shouldn't be like that. I mean, we look at some of the across the league with Buffalo, and you look at other teams that have some really, really good coordinators coordinating special teams. I just really think they need to address that in the off season. It's something that it's been an ongoing thing for 3-4 years now, and it just hasn't seemed to be. We have weeks where it looks good, and then it goes back to do we know what we're doing? And then we go to another week, it looks good again, and then it goes back to, do we know what we're doing? So I think they need to change that. As for the defense, I'm hoping that Milton Williams comes back, and maybe the run game will get fixed again. Look, halfway decent like in the regular part of the season. And the one thing I don't know if you guys noticed, that David Andrews and your guy Barth, he came out there and mentioned that about the penalties. I was watching it this morning on 98.5 Sports Hub. He was talking about, if you remember in the beginning of the season, there were so many ridiculous penalties, and we were all like, this isn't not a Mike Vrabel coach team, and there were penalties just left and right on all sides of the ball. And now you see this last game, Ramondre's throwing hands, and then David Andrews even said during the Giants game that didn't happen. When Ellis hit their quarterback, you saw how they're professional. So I don't know if you guys can elaborate on that, why the professionalism and the penalties, how that happened.
Okay, so I guess he's saying that there aren't as many penalties as there were before, or
they have dropped off
they
in the beginning of the season. I think this was a little bit of a
penalties have dropped off.
I haven't. That's not an issue for me.
No.
They were an issue on Sunday, but I think that the penalties dropped off from the early part of the season. I think those two plays are very similar. When Christian Ellis hit Jackson Dart on the sideline, a guy from the Giants came over and took exception to the hit, and then he got the penalty. This one, Ramondre Stevenson took exception to the hit that he got on the sideline, and he actually threw a punch, and for whatever reason, I don't know if there's going to be an inquiry on this. They decided to call a penalty on the guy who got punched and the guy who punched.
I like that.
So they called offsetting.
Yeah, but Ramondre's punch was justified.
Right. But not if you ask Mike Vrabel.
I just
Mike Vrabel was not happy with Ramondre Stevenson on that play.
But, yeah, I don't know.
Rob in
That's what
San
we worried
Diego,
about.
we'll end the
That's
show
my
on
point.
this email. He says, am I crazy for thinking the Patriots played well? So much of this episode has been people asking what went wrong. I had no idea what was going to happen in that game. Part of me was thinking the Patriots might lose badly. I thought that all the turnovers in the first Bills game might have given us a skewed perception of how good this Patriots team really is. The fact that they almost won means that they belong. Am I crazy for thinking like that?
No, I told you I thought
Evan started the show.
I told you I
agreeing with
thought they played really well in the game, and I don't know why you thought they were going to get blown out. Quite honestly, you guys have been telling me for 10 straight weeks how good this team is, and you in the back of your mind you thought there was a chance they were going to get blown out. I didn't think there was any chance they were going to get blown out.
You skated with them. You
Yeah.
just let them off the hook.
Yeah, Fred, just real quick, I looked it up. So there is a this Saturday night, 7 to 9 p.m. at Lucky's Tavern, 10 Marketplace in Baltimore. There will be a fan party. I think it's the official party. Some cheerleaders will be there.
Yeah, I think the Patriots are actually sending Pat Patriot down there.
Yeah, they've got a picture of Pat Patriot on there. And so, 7 to 9, all ages welcome at Lucky's Tavern.
Quick hour flight, dude. You're going to go down there Saturday night, come back for the pregame?
Is that in the Inner Harbor?
I don't know that. That's a good. I don't know Baltimore.
I
I've never
hope
been
it's
there.
in the Inner Harbor.
Is that where you're staying, Fred?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's where we usually
There's going to be giveaways, raffles, surprise appearances. Kirsten Lazar, maybe.
No, just.
But not me, Paul. We'll be here, Paul.
Ain't going to be Ev.
We'll be holding down the fort.
He's not a man of the people.
No.
Behind the velvet ropes.
People, when I went to Tennessee in
Where's
Nashville,
Evan?
a lot of people were saying, "Is Evan coming?"
What do you mean I'm not a man of the people? We have to. The show's over, but what is that supposed to mean?
You don't like people.
You're right. No, that
people not for you.
All right, we'll
That
see
I
you
can't
tomorrow, and Catch 22 at 10.
10 a.m. Yep.
All right.
Hey, this is Alex. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you really want to help us, make sure you like us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, make sure you follow us on the New England Patriots YouTube channel to see this show and everything else we do here at the Patriots. Thanks a lot.